Live from twitch.tv and youtube.com, it's Vtuber Talk. Tonight's guest is Pachi. And now, tired of catching all these sea bass, here's your host, Jay. Hello and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host, Jay, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late-night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations that will entertain people who are already familiar with the guest while still being accessible for new fans. Please welcome my guest for this evening, Pachi.
Hi.
Hi.
Pachi.
She is Pachi. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd be in real trouble if this wasn't Pachi. I'd be like, how did this happen? The security at the studio is, okay, I don't pay security guards here. I'm the only security, and I'm not terribly intimidating, but we have moderate security protocols over here, thank you. But so happy to have you here, Pachi. I'm guessing most folks are probably familiar with you, but for anyone who might not be, if you could introduce yourself.
Oh, my intro is just hi, I'm Pachi.
And it's a good intro. It's short and to the point, and it's completely true.
I mean, if I were to do a longer intro, I say, hi, I'm Pachi, I'm a catfish VTuber. And then that's it. But if I were to do a longer intro, do you want me to do a longer intro?
Have you ever done one? Was there ever the concept for, some VTubers have this full-on scripted thing, and others, I'd say most have the pretty basic one-liner. But have you ever toyed with the idea of scripting one out?
I kind of have one for like if I'm doing collabs and they're like, please tell me more. Please, I want more than just hi, I'm Pachi. But I say hi, I'm Pachi. I'm a catfish VTuber. I do a lot of things. I draw, I rig, I animate, I cook, I do a lot of things, and then I also yap a lot. And then I also made and rigged my own model. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually, this one is relatively new. It's only a couple months old at this point, if memory serves.
Yeah, it's like 4 months old now.
Yeah, because actually, when I first reached out to you, you had your previous one, but you had been working on this one for a while. How long was this one in the cooker?
I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and other such things, and I multitask and I play Repo while I work on this model. So like I don't exactly know. And I also kind of forgot. I think I've been working on it since maybe March. I think March was when I first started working on it. But if you asked, or it's not like just like pure working on it. Like whenever I play Reaper with my friends and I'm dead, I just like start like working on my model.
I mean, that's a good way to just sort of parse out productivity of, okay, if I'm in this game and I need to wait for the next round to start, that it sort of gives you that little incentive to just get a little bit done, and it breaks it up into smaller pieces. It's not, okay, I need to sit down and schedule out time and sort of force myself to work that you're going to inevitably get a break pretty soon, and that breaks it into small pieces. And to be honest, March to, we'll even call it, September, October-ish, I say this as someone who obviously is not an artist or rigger, but having just seen the average timeline of things in the VTubing space, that feels perfectly average. If anything, in some ways, it almost feels quick. I have heard some unfortunate stories of people having to be knocked back to square one any number of times, and plans that would be a 6-month timeline suddenly becoming a year and a half. So, hey, same calendar year. I think that's a victory.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately for me, I do everything, so the time is all in my hands. So it could take over a year if I decide it takes over a year, but the good and bad thing is it's all on me. I control all of it, so.
Does art, I guess, where does art start for you? Is this something that you were really into when you were young, elementary, middle school, or is it something that you found a passion for a bit later on?
I've been drawing ever since I could remember picking up a pen. And because of that, I feel like whenever we did like art projects in school and stuff like that, my like works would probably be the best out of the class, and that kept me motivated. I'm like, yes, I'm good at this. I'm getting so much praise. It's looking so good. And so I kept doing it as a hobby for a long time. Um, and then I grew up where it's like people keep telling me, "Oh, like art, if you do it as like a job, it's not going to work out. You're going to be like a starving artist and stuff like that, right?" So then I just kept it as a hobby for the longest time. But then in college, I was losing my gosh dang mind. I was like, I can't take this anymore. I need to do a different major. And then I decided the only thing that would make me happy is to be an art major. And so I changed my major into an art major, like an arts and technology major.
Mm.
Um, and then I graduated, but then I still wanted to be a VTuber, and so I moved in with my current fiance, and then now I'm a VTuber who does art for a living now. Not for like a livable living, but like, you know, gets
It's
money.
non-zero, it's something.
Yeah.
And that hopefully more and more over time. And that feels like a pretty substantial success story that, you're able to, one, make some amount of revenue as an artist, which in and of itself, that feels like a pretty big threshold to cross. And from
No, it's really hard.
And you've been mentioning that you've been pretty busy lately. A good number of your more recent streams have been working streams where you've just been working in the background, and it's something that folks do. And the reason that you haven't been showing your art is because you're working for other clients. And obviously, a lot of folks don't want their designs to be known until they get to debut them. So just sort of standard protocol is you get to work on them on stream, quote unquote, but that they are not being shown on screen.
Yeah, so I just have like it's not like clients at the current moment. It's just like a bunch of projects that I have in the works of like various degrees. Like,
Hmm.
um, I mean, they've seen me participate in concerts, they've seen my rigging for other people. Sometimes I'll do like art for covers for other people or myself and stuff like that. And all of those are things that like I'll keep private because I just like surprising people. But I am planning to open commissions pretty soon for like other people. But most of the work I'm doing right now is not particularly for other people. It's for people whose projects I'm a part of, kind of thing.
Hmm.
The one off thing was Kumomo's model, where she was like, "Can you rig it?" And I'm like, "Okay."
And actually, you just posted the showcase of that yesterday. She had her debut very recently, so we have right here Kumomo's model. You mentioned that you actually majored in not just art, but art and technology. So kind of set yourself up there that, falling into VTubing certainly makes sense from where it was. But my guess is that when you were doing whatever degree work there was there, it probably didn't include rigging and live 2D because at least to my knowledge, I don't think that's something that any college courses, at least as of now, really have in their curriculum. But is there anything that you studied during your degree that you think made it so you were able to pick up live 2D and rigging easier than perhaps the average person who might not have had that background?
So when I was in college, I studied 3D stuff for the most part. And it was like I learned how to like make a model, texture, rig, and animate models and stuff like that. I also learned how to like make games and design and do all that jazz. And I think the skills I have from 3D modeling does play into like live 2D. Like it's making a model, texturing it, making sure all the parts work together correctly, and then also rigging it. It's not the same, obviously, but I would say the art part of it is like the modeling and texturing, and then the rigging part is like the rigging and animation part. So
Yeah.
mm-mm-mm-mm.
And I'm guessing that the study of 3D animation in space in relativity probably has some amount of overlap here, even if it's not an exact one-to-one.
It's easier to visualize a lot of things in Live 2D when you have the knowledge of the 3D workspace as well, because like you're like, oh, if like my model turns this way, then I want these certain parts to be shown like it would be in like 3D space and stuff like that. So I take a lot of that knowledge into account when it comes to just like visualizing a lot of things, because I feel like I'm very good at visualizing a lot of things.
Mm. Was there anything about Komomo's model that you found particularly fun or perhaps particularly challenging?
So she asked me to make some silly toggles for her. And I made a toggle, or I told her she couldn't like find out what it was until stream. Like I told her not to
Oh,
push the buttons.
you gave her a mystery box.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, with the amount of time I have right now, I have given you 2 mystery toggles. I don't know if I have an example of those right now without pulling up her actual model, but then that would replace my model.
And I'm guessing they're not in this showcase video here.
They are not, because the showcase video I could only make it like a minute long, because that's the amount of time I would have for an animation for like VTube Studio, but I think I could. Hold on. So her banner right now, I can give you a picture of her banner. Her banner right now is an example of one of them. It's like the derpy
yes,
face.
of course.
It's the derpy face one. And then I have another toggle. I don't think she's posted it, so I have to go find it. Do you mind if I like send you a clip of it?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I'll find it. We can talk while I find it.
Yeah, in the meantime, what about your own? For this one, was there anything that you did that was new versus the previous model that you found that you wanted to either streamline, say, okay, this was really tough the first time I did it, I'm just going to make this easier for myself? Or did you perhaps challenge yourself and say, all right, I want to add this piece, and I haven't done it before, but I really want to make this one happen?
So the different technique I use for this model as opposed to other models is a method called an underfill method, which means the line art is basically like a giant block that's like a little bit bigger than the color. And so you can make a lot of cool different angles, and like you can adjust the line weight as well as where the line art stops and ends. It's typically for like body parts where the like skin stops like showing as much line art or shadow and stuff like that. But I decided to just do it for like my hair too. So it helps when it comes to like maybe my little what is this called? The part that sticks out on my side bangs at the top. So it helps with that, especially because of my unique shading style, which you can see has like the border where the shading like ends and stuff like that.
Yeah, your style as a whole sort of, it blends a bit of obviously the more conventional anime style, but also feels a bit cel-shaded. I say once again, as somebody who has really no formal art education, so I may be misinterpreting and or butchering terminology here. Please correct me.
Yeah, so it is cel shading, but like it's just like bordered cel shading, I call it. I don't actually know the official term for it. But it is, I feel like, harder to implement cel shading into a model just because cel shading requires like pretty like more precise and sharp movements, which is hard when you're trying to blend it into a model. That's why if you have like a really stylized like a or like really detailed like blending and all that good stuff, all those details, it is easier to hide your mistakes and hide like where things end and begin. But for my model, it's really hard to do that because everything is cel shaded and everything needs to be in certain places.
Mm. One thing that you carried over from your previous model, which is a bit subtler now, but I'm really glad you kept it, is the bubbles in the back shadow of your hair.
Yeah, so I wanted to keep that part because it's still an important part of me and I still wanted to do it. I originally was a lime soda VTuber and I still want to be a lime soda VTuber. I've just like shifted my focus a little bit. So I say I'm a catfish VTuber because people like that better and it
It
rolls off
does
the
make
tongue
for a
better.
very good pun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people are just like, oh, catfish VTuber, but we're like, what's with the hair? And I'm just like, oh, my hair is made of soda because I like soda. And so people are like, is there lore to this? And I'm like, no, not really.
The lore is
I
that
just
melon soda is very yummy.
melon soda, lime soda, any soda is really yummy, so that's what I decided to do. And then the bubbles in the hair, I actually had to ask another rigger. I don't really ask people, like it's really hard for me to just like cold DM people and just be like, hey, I need I need to know this thing. But I cold DM someone because I'm desperate. I need to know. I don't know how to do this. And then I asked her, and then like she replied immediately with the technique, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I put it into effect immediately, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it works properly. Holy moly.
You have gifted me the sacred knowledge.
It is also a lot easier because on my previous model, I would animate each bubble one by one.
Oh, I don't know
on this
rigging, and I
one-
know that just baseline.
Yeah. But yeah, on this model, it's 2 layers of bubbles that go up in different increments. That basically makes like a, what is it, like a looping river-ish, I would have to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that you have basically a set animation for all of them that goes as a singular bit as opposed to having each bubble be an individual object.
So like one layer of the bubbles goes and then the other one lines up, and then once that one once the first one goes out, it goes back up to line back when the second one goes, and then it just loops like that.
Ah.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Sorry, I'm bad at explaining.
No, please trust me, I'd be worse at explaining. Do you have any particular sacred knowledge of your own that you like to tell others, or a workaround that you've found that you're like, please people, you're working too hard. If you just do this thing, it will save you so much time. Or even just your favorite workaround hack, even if it's a widely known one.
Nah, I don't really have any hacks. I just kind of like go about it as I see it, and then I don't really have any hacks.
Do you have any particular, I suppose, for lack of a better term, level up moments of when you learn something, apart from this particular one with the hair, where it just suddenly made your life a lot easier from what you'd been initially doing?
I'm thinking. I have a lot of like tutorials saved on my Twitter, and then I use like maybe 10% of them because I always lose them, and then I don't rig very often, so I always forget about them.
Also, you've sent me the other toggle that you made for Kumomo, and I see what you did here. Yes.
Yeah, I just decided to send you a timestamp to the toggle. Felt like that would be easiest.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a screenshot of this one. It is a classic for sure. Twitch, why are you having this extra overlay here? That is so unnecessary. We don't need that. There we go.
But yeah, this toggle was in the back of my mind for forever. I didn't know how I wanted to implement it, but I did it eventually.
Are there any toggles that you feel are easier to make than others, or are there any that are just really difficult that people underestimate when they are asking something of their riggers?
So one thing I would say is really hard is that I had to deal with Komomo's model is she asked me if she could make her tail wag faster when she's smiling, and her antennas also spin more wildly when she's excited. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that probably." And I think about it. I'm just like, "Okay, I'll just do this." And I'm like, "That's not working." And then I'm like, let's try this." And I'm like, "That's not working." Then I
Uh-oh.
look up a tutorial video and I'm just like, "What the hell are they talking about right now?" And then I look up another tutorial video. I'm just like, I'll just try my best." And then I did it, and I'm like, "It's not working. Nothing's working." And then I just tried some other things, and I'm like, "Oh, it works now, I guess."
We get
But
there eventually.
yeah, I don't know much about blend shapes in Live 2D. I understand the concept, but I'm still learning how to implement it into my work. But blend shapes are really good. I just don't know how to implement them properly, and you had to use blend shapes to implement it into this. So it was a learning experience. It took me probably like 2 to 3 hours to learn how to make her tail
Mm.
wag.
And was that a particularly different process from your own? Because you don't actually have it up right now, but you do have a tail on your own model.
Oh, yeah, I learned that after, well, I learned that during Kumomo's model. For my model, I don't really
Oh.
care, no. I just make my tail wag by, like, just going up and down for that
Mm,
one, but for
but it's
hers, it
the
toggles with her mouth smiling.
okay, so it's that particular connectivity from uh, from an expression as opposed to an active toggle that makes it difficult.
Mm-mm-mm.
That it's not the animation itself; it is the sort of back end connectivity, for lack of a better term.
Mhm. Yeah, cause like, your mouth has a lot of keyforms, it has a lot of movement, and you have to make it to where it moves in a certain way at a certain point, and that's a little bit hard to do. Because for my tail, mine just moves if I move, right? And
Hmm.
that's easy. But for Kumomo, it specifically has to be when her mouth is in a smiling position, and um, unfortunately, that is also connected with her opening, and also like if you have V-Bridger, that's also like a whole different beast. I'm so glad she didn't ask for V-Bridger.
I have not ventured into Vbridger myself. That fortunately, my model is pretty simplistic. I think, at least in relativity, but I do
hmm
know that I I've heard that Vbridger has some benefits, but that it also just really increases complexity.
It does. I agree. It looks really nice, but it's a pain in the butt. It was a pain in the butt to learn. I still don't understand everything. I still actually need to like look at tutorials to like understand what exactly I need to do at certain points, but it does increase my mouth movements. Um and so it makes my mouth look really nice, but it is just a lot of work. I was losing my mind when I was rigging my own like mouth into V-Bridger. But it looks nice. It took me
Yeah.
probably like 3 or 4 hours to do this.
mm Yeah, it definitely came out really nice. And I know when I got my model from Captain Krabs, who did both the model and the rigging, that I had to tinker a little bit with the variables. I forget what the exact
Oh,
reason.
parameters?
Yes, the parameters. Thank you. To get things working where I wanted them, but uh, that was a couple of hours well spent of just sort of the trial and error, and that's something that I definitely, even I, who, like I said, really no knowledge for rigging or art, that I can tell when I'm pretty sure someone hasn't taken the time to tinker with the parameters just a little bit. So for any VTubers out there, whenever you get one, if you don't already, just tinker with the parameters little bit, just trial and error of, okay, I set it to just super extreme high, super extreme low, and then slowly work my way inwards, just like, the rule of halving until I find whatever the value is that works best for what I'm trying to get. And even
hmm
now, like, I remember I was tinkering with them again just a couple weeks ago because I felt like there was something that was moving just a little bit off, and those couple of minutes for however often you stream, assuming it's more than like once a year, is probably going to be worth the time.
So, for VTuber models, typically I will um like tweak them as much as I can in VTube Studio itself. Like I don't like export the file from Live2D Cubism and I just give it to them, be like, here, figure it out. I like sit down and like help like set up the model. Like I set up all the expression keys. Like even for Kumomo's model, I made like a Stream Deck profile for her so that she could have all her toggles in one place, and so it's easier. So I don't have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. just like mapped. And then she like clicks a random one. She's like, what the? Why is my face like this? And then, so I have to adjust all of that. Then I have to like, depending on what I do. So for the mouse smile with the tail wag movement, I did have to adjust the parameters and add in new parameters depending to make that work all together. And then, so each model is, what is it? It is at the moment tracked to my face, like ideally tracked to my face. And then when I give it to the client, they're like, oh, it doesn't work like how I want it. And I'm like, yes, because that is for my face and not for yours.
Yeah.
So you'll have to adjust it. But then I think a lot of people don't really know how to adjust it. There's like, how do I adjust it? And I'm just like, oh, there's like those parameters, you just move them a certain way. They're like, how do I move them? And I'm like this. And they're like, but like, it doesn't do what I want. And I'm like, yeah, you just have to tweak it. And I'm just,
Because when I got mine from Krabs, that it was clear he had already set to his face, so things were working. It's not like things were going completely crazy, but certain movements that I made just weren't resulting in the movements for the model. So I had to do a bit, and that he was really, really good about saying, oh, if what you're having trouble with is the O mouth shape, change this parameter, that parameter, that parameter, and at least pointing me in the direction of the ones that would be most useful to change, and that I wasn't completely flailing around because there's a lot of parameters on any given model.
There's so many, and depending on how complex it is, there's even more.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. Like I said, mine was very much designed to be as simple as possible because I'm just a little guy. I don't even have arms to worry about. I don't even have legs to worry about. It was just, okay, we got this one pivot point here, and everything else is really just the mouth shaped and making sure that the blinking works. The tie is sort of free floating on its own, and the other piece was the rotation of the microphone dots for when I turned. But I know that yours and most other full humanoid models have a lot more complexity and a lot of other literally and figuratively moving parts.
Yeah, there's just a lot to rigging. It's just so much.
How did you end up starting with that, actually? Because was it just because you wanted to rig your own, or was it something you picked up?
Because I'm broke.
Yeah, that was the other thing, because there's a lot of people who make like their entire livelihood now, or at least part of their livelihood, from rigging, because it started that they didn't want to have to pay another rigger, or that depending on when they started, rewind the clocks 4 or 5 years, there just weren't a lot of riggers out there, and that most of the ones out there were Japanese. So if you don't speak Japanese, you're going to have a lot of difficulty communicating, and that's assuming that they actually don't have, a queue of commissions. So a lot of folks just learned out of necessity.
Yeah, so for me, I was broke and I was like, VTubers are cool. And then I looked at the price of a model and I'm like, oh, holy moly.
That's not as cool.
And then I was like, I can draw, I can make my own. And then like I drew my own and I learned how to like separate the layers and everything for rigging. And then I was a student at the time, so I bought Live2D Live2D Cubism. I bought the program with a student discount that makes it like 90% off or something.
Yeah, I've heard that the student discount is very useful for that one.
So it was like $80 at the time for like 3 years, and I'm just like, sure, why not? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make like more money like buying this and then like rigging models than like if I were to just like not, you know, so
Yeah.
it just outweighed the cost at that point.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, and then I rigged my first ever model, and I'm like, I'm so proud of it. It doesn't look good, by the way, because it was my first model.
Nobody's first
But
model
I've
looks good.
I've grown a lot ever since. So I've made, how many have I made? I've made 1, 2, 3, 4. I've made 4 models of my own, and then made like how many outfits? Like 5 outfits. So I've grown a lot.
Mm-mm. At
This
the
model
beginning,
took a long time because I had to implement all like of my models. Like I wanted to bring back my like 2 other outfits, and then I wanted to implement this new fishing outfit. So then that took like a lot of time in
mm,
my hairstyles.
back at the
Yeah.
beginning, what was the most difficult part of rigging for you? Was there a particular tool or concept, or just a particular body part, clothing part that was a particular struggle?
That was too long ago. I don't remember.
That's entirely fair. I can barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
I just remember being really overwhelmed at the UI. I'm just like, what the hell is a parameter? What is a deformer? What the hell is skinning? What is glue? What is all this? Oh my god, what's going on with you?
Oh, yeah, that's one of my toggles.
That's so cute. I just look over and I'm just like, oh my god.
That is my
what's
general
wrong?
stressed out of, oh dear, because just thinking about all those different things, all those different variables, that it's enough to make one short circuit.
Yeah, there's just so much like that's why there's a lot of like artists for models, but there's like a significantly less amount of riggers for those models.
Mm,
But even with those artists, it's hard to find one that will make a model that will be rig ready, like rig compatible. I actually had a client like a long time ago come to me. She's like, "Oh, I need help. Like, I have like a model and I need it rigged, but like I feel like it's not ready to be rigged." And I'm like, "Okay, send over the file." She sends me a PNG, and I'm like, "No, no, no, I need the file." And she's like, "No,
This
no, no,
is the
this is it."
file.
And I'm like, "What do you
Oh.
mean? This is a PNG?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
the artist gave me." And I'm just like,
no, even I know that layers and separation is an entire process.
I hate that process. My least favorite process. I just like drawing, and I partially like rigging. I don't like separating and
Mhm.
organizing.
That does feel like the least creative part of the process, that when you're doing the art and the design and everything, that you're able to bring in that creativity and have a lot more active fun, whereas the cutting process is a lot more literally and figuratively mechanical, of just, okay, we need to do all these things and separate it out, so you can actually then get to the rigging, which then has more, again, creativity and actual, leeway of how you want to do something, versus just, all right, outline, cut, outline, cut.
Yeah, I'm just like, because I do it with a symmetry tool, so I'm just like cut in half, cut, rename, cut in half, cut, rename, and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I hate renaming all these stupid things. I hate this. This is awful.
Shables in chat actually asked a really good question. When making your model, was there any scope creep or things you hadn't initially thought of that you added, or did things stay pretty well inside of the original vision?
Actually, for this model, everything was pretty well in scope. I did have a few difficulties with just like my shading style with the borders and everything, but that wasn't really that much of a problem, if I gotta be honest. Like I couldn't think of any one issue that I had to deal with too much. Like maybe there's some things that clip, like my ears, they kind of just like go anywhere they want. So like if I have a hat, it doesn't matter if, like where the hat holes are anymore. It's just my ears will just go wherever it wants. But I think the biggest thing, I guess, would be containing all of my hair fluff inside of my hats and stuff like that, and making it look good in that sense. But otherwise, it's not really that much of a problem or anything. One thing I do currently still have an issue with is I wanted to make an automated system to where chat could like toggle my hairstyles and my hats and like my outfits and stuff. I can't do that because in VTube Studio, you have a toggle that sets and unsets a toggle. You do not have one that unsets every toggle, and you do not have one that sets certain toggles. It's only set and unset, and if you use that with other things, it becomes really funky and it doesn't work very correctly.
That there's just no global reset. So I guess you could. This is me with, again, minimal programming knowledge. I guess I don't know if you're able to make it so an action can change multiple variables. That is there even the possibility of having, an action or redeem that it does a global reset, but procedurally it is literally just going down the line and individually resetting each thing, or can each action only have a singular reaction in terms of variables or resets there?
So I've been thinking about this for a long time. And so I do have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts on it. However, a lot of the ideas and a lot of the thoughts are not as simple as I would hope they would be. There is a reset button on VTube Studio, just by the way. However, it resets everything. So if I were to press the reset button... Hold on, where's my reset button? There's my reset button. It just does this. And so if I wanted to change to an outfit, let's say I wanted to change to my captain outfit and stuff like this, and then I wanted to change to this hairstyle, but I just want to change my hairstyle, right? If I do the reset button, it resets my outfit and my hairstyle. And so there's no way I can just reset one or the other. I have to reset the whole entire thing. And I don't know how I would be able to have it read which outfit or which hairstyle I want it to stay at. It would just have to be one or the other, or it would either have to be I can't do it, or I have to reset the whole model and figure that out, I guess.
I'm trying to think if I know of anyone that has a particular toggle like that. Just can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but if I do, I'll let you know, and that you maybe reach out to them. But
there is like a solution. However, I don't want to set it up.
Oh, that's
so I use a bot called Mix It Up. It is a tool that lets me automate a lot of things, as well as like commands and stuff like that. Also, let me put down my tail, sorry.
You're good.
But it is a tool that automates a lot of things. However, there is another bot called StreamerBot that has a separate toggle for unset expressions for VTube Studio. Because I was just like, I was like trying to wrap my head around it, and I couldn't. So I went to both the VTube Studio and the Live 2D Discord for solutions to see if anyone else has had this issue, and they suggested StreamerBot because they have like a set toggle, unset toggle, and then set plus unset toggle type of thing, and that would be exactly what I need. However, I tried to use StreamerBot. It's not very user friendly, like beginner friendly. Sorry, it's not very beginner friendly. And then you also have to remake all your toggles to fit that one, and I don't really feel like doing that. So I just haven't done that, and I just stuck with Mix It Up for the time being because it's a lot easier, and like easier on the eyes to use. So, but there is a solution. I just don't really feel like
exist, but is
doing it right now.
Time investment worth it? And at this time, the answer is no.
Yeah, I'm just like, maybe in the future, but I'm just like kind of hoping and praying that Denshi, the developer of VTube Studio, just adds an unset like toggles and set toggles
something
button.
Locally. Yeah. You never know. Denshi's done a lot of work, and just sometimes out of the blue be like, hey, here's a giant update with 15 different things that we've just sort of been quietly working on in the background.
Yeah, so that'd be cool though. I would love that.
Oh, sorry, Salt Wizard. I have my auto mod automatically set to just mute any links. I do not have much of a mod team, which is to say I have no mod team. So I have to have my own settings on very, very high. But
Were they trying to say streamer bot? Because it's streamer.bot, and that makes a
oh,
link.
that may have done it. That may have done it.
Yeah, that might have been the issue, but I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Streamer.bot is the actual thing.
Yeah, they say StreamerBot is certainly programmer-oriented, but you'd probably have to create procedures like unset hair and then set your hair.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would have to do. I just don't want to do it.
I mean, I barely do anything on my own. That I very much sympathize, and for the folks that do take the time and effort to make their own really bespoke things, because, trust me, I have seen some people do some outright witchcraft with their VTuber models and with OBS. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Meika, that she does things that are, I call outright unnatural with OBS. She's literally programmed things where a toggle will procedurally do some 50 commands in OBS, and just seeing it sort of cascade and having actual programming play out in a OBS scene. I've seen it happen. I couldn't begin to even venture a guess at how that stuff works.
Can you send me a link? I want to see.
I don't have a go-to link of actually seeing the back end that they've shown me, and they've shown, I know, a couple times on stream. But
what's their Twitch again?
Meika, Meicha.
Oh, thank you. I will have to check them out sometime.
And then I've seen
I
others.
also just like doing a bunch of super cursed things on my stream too. I just don't know how to put them on my stream. I mean, literally, when I was doing more cooking streams back in the day, my fiance had an idea of getting a receipt printer, and then chat can control the receipt printer. And so on a random Sunday or something, he went out, he bought a receipt printer while I was still asleep. He's like, "Honey, I got a receipt printer." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I'm gonna do something funny on your stream." And I'm like, "Huh?" And so now I have a receipt printer that every time someone subs or donates or gives bits, it prints out a picture of Blue Lobtor, except it doesn't print in color, so it's just Lobtor.
Oh, that sounds like a job for Uwo's lab. Just for all the things that he's done that will cause some sort of IRL hardware reaction to sub or bits or different chat actions. That sounds right in his realm.
Bro, this thing scares me. The receipt printers is so loud. I just get so scared every time. I'll just be cooking. I'm just frying up some meat, and then I just hear ka-chirk, and I'm just like, another picture of a Blue Lobtor? Okay, thanks guys, I guess. And then depending on if it's a sub or a bit, it's either really long or really wide. So it's like a gotcha. I'm just like, who did wide Lobtor and who did long Lobtor? But yeah, so that's what I have, and it's because my fiance is graduated with a comp sci degree, so he has a lot of knowledge.
A powerful combination there. I've just did that with you having the art and your type of tech background, and then comp sci, that it is unsurprising that he would sort of on his own pick up that receipt printer. That I'm seeing the connection, just the personalities play out there.
Do you want to see a clip of my receipt printer going haywire?
Yeah.
I'll find it while we talk. It's pretty far away. It's of my old model, I think, so it's kind of far away. But I'll find it.
Speaking of your cooking streams, when was the last one? Because I've just been really busy lately, so you could have had one last week and I missed it, but I don't know if it's been a while.
It's been a while. So the last cooking stream I had was for an event, actually. I had an event, what was it? Maybe in August or something? Where my friend was doing a school, club activity type event, and I chose the picnic club, and I made a bento. I did not bring out the receipt printer at that point because I wanted to keep it a little bit less chaotic for an event type situation.
Understandable.
But Yeah, I made a bento. I can show you the pictures. It's on my Twitter somewhere. I'm just finding everything for you. I just show off here.
Do you have any favorite
Actually,
cooking streams that you've done?
favorite cooking streams? Not in particular, I think. I just like to do them. I don't know if I have one in particular, but also I don't remember all of them that I made.
When you're just cooking for yourself, not on stream or anything, do you have anything that you enjoy making because either it is just something you really enjoy eating or because it is very easy to make?
I like malatang because so I have these soup broths, they're like hot pot soup bases, and then I cut them up into like single serving portions. I put that with some water, some milk, some chicken broth, and some five spice powder, and that's basically the broth for it. And then you just add whatever the hell you want boiled in that. So I'll put like fish balls, fish tofu, like beef, any veggies I have like broccoli or bok choy or something. Any other fish cakes. I put imitation crab and stuff like that. I put like tofu skin and stuff like that in all of it, and it's really delicious. And you just boil it for a bit, and then you can eat it with rice, or you can put noodles inside of it too. And I like that.
I'm a very, very lazy cook, so most of my stuff sort of amounts to taking prepared ingredients and then combining them and adding some spices and, boiling things here and there, but I'm not very creative and not very willing to do a lot of work. One saying that my mother had that I very much, well, she still has it, that I very much live by is, if it takes me longer to make it than to eat it, I don't want to make it.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, to me, that's like a lazy meal. To other people, that's like an intense like cooking session. But for me, yeah, that's my lazy meal because I just throw things together. Like sometimes I'll cook it, or sometimes I'll chop it, but sometimes I'll just tear it up and throw it in the thing. But I know for other people, it's not like that as well. So, there's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And different people definitely have different varying levels. I actually had like a temporary roommate. We were helping him move like to where we were, and we would go out to get groceries, and he's like, "Oh, what do you want to cook? Like, what do you need for groceries?" And he's like, "I just want bread and some salmon and some butter." And I'm like, "Anything else? Like, do you want like vegetables or like meats?" And he's like, "No, that's okay." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then like I'll go out and I'll be like, "Oh, it's time for me to make lunch for myself. Maybe I'll make like malatang or udon or like some of these other things." And then I just see my temporary roommate just like getting a piece of bread and putting butter on it and then putting it in the oven, and that's his lunch. And I'm just like, "Oh,
okay, do better than that at the very least." That my lazy is I found some very good brands of protein and meal shakes, like not just protein, but that they have vitamins, minerals, and whatnot. So if I need to just grab something and drink the shake very quickly, that I at least know I'm getting a proper meal's worth of, actual nutrition in me. But sometimes I do go just that lazy that I usually have in my refrigerator at any given time, probably 10 protein shakes just in case of emergency, and make sure that I always have a couple extra in case.
My fiance does that. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm in a rush." And then he just takes a protein shake and then he'll just go. And I'm just like, "What did you have?" He's like, "A protein shake and a coffee." And it's like dinner time. I'm just like, "Honey, why? What the heck?"
But it's still more than bread and butter. Yay, sort of, maybe.
Well, I mean, I feel like bread and butter gives like fullness, but I feel like a protein shake. I like solid food for my intakes of meals. So I think personally I would prefer bread and butter over a protein shake. But maybe that's just me.
If bread and butter had the same nutritional value as the protein shake, I would eat the bread and butter every time. That in terms of actual consistency and satisfiedness, that 100% agree there. The protein shake is entirely based off of convenience and actual nutritional value that it is able to have that bread and butter alone is not going to. But
Mhm.
That is more of a necessary evil than my ideal form of a meal.
I definitely think like living with people has like opened my eyes onto like how either how much or how little people like put effort into the things like that they want to do. Like I really like cooking, right? So I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just cook like a meal and it'll be delicious. I love food and stuff like that. And then I see one of my other roommates like make was it a whole pack of pasta? He said he'll eat it by himself and then he didn't even like it. He tried to make carbonara, which is like a really hard thing to make. He made scrambled eggs and pasta, like a whole box of it, and then said he didn't want to eat. And I'm just
Aw.
like, why? Why would you do this to me?
Like, if
My
I'm
heart
cooking for
hurts.
others, I have much more patience cooking for others than cooking for myself. I think that's the thing. If I'm
No, yeah, me
helping
too.
at
I
home,
love
making a
cooking for
meal,
others.
and, it's for the family, if there's a party or a gathering happening, I will spend that time and have no complaints doing so. But if it's just me and I am making my own breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, I usually tend towards whatever is just the fastest at that point in time that I usually just want to get back to whatever I'm doing.
I feel like that's a lot of people. I do the same exact thing. Like typically for lunch, I'll just make like the malatang, or like I'll just fry up some meat and eat microwave rice or something. But for dinner, like I'll just be like, oh, I'll make like some braised oxtails that take like 3 hours to make, and then I'll make like a side of mashed potatoes with it. For me and my fiance, he was like, dang, these are really good. Or like short ribs that take like 4 hours to make, or like chicken and rice that takes like a lot of seasoning and effort and steps and stuff like that. I actually made like salted butter bread the other day because I just wanted to
Ooh.
make it for my fiance and our roommate. And then I cried because it wasn't proofing correctly, and so it's still bread. It's just not very good bread. It's not what I was expecting.
Mm. Do you have any
Because it
favorite
was
meal?
supposed to be, oh, it was supposed to be fluffy, but then it just became like a dense piece of bread, which is still
I
bread, but it's, yeah. What are you saying?
was gonna say, do you have any favorite meals from childhood? Any, recipes that either your family made or things that you would make for yourself?
So one thing that I made a lot in college, that would be my go-to is mentaiko udon, creamy mentaiko udon. So I get a pack of microwave udon. I take some heavy cream, and some milk. I put that in there, with a little soy sauce and some salt and MSG. And then I put the udon in there for it to cook, and then have it reduce into a sauce, and then I add some mentaiko at the very end, so it doesn't cook like too much, and then that's it. It's really easy. It takes like maybe 15 minutes to cook. And I really like that. And I introduced it to my now fiance. He says that's one of his favorite things that I make. And I'm like, really? It's like what got me through college.
Did you ever consider going into the culinary arts as a discipline or as a career?
No, I never thought about that. Mostly because when I grew up, my parents, it's not like the typical like engineer, doctor, lawyer type of thing, but it's like they were just like, just do something that makes a lot of money because money gets you happiness. And I'm just like, yeah, to an extent, but like now I like my job. um, but yeah, so actually, I forgot what I was saying. Hmm. Sorry, I do
No,
that
you're
a
good.
lot.
Let's see here. Making the udon, which your fiance likes, the childhood meals, cooking for others. So I'm just sort of backtracking through, trying to find the thread, perhaps.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Is there anything that you've been hoping to make sometime soon that you haven't made before? Or anything that you want to eventually, even if it's not necessarily in the short term, learn how to make?
Mm, I want to make a prime rib. That
Mm.
sounds delightful.
How does
Prime.
making prime rib vary from other ribs, like short ribs or other types of meat preparation? Is there something that is particularly challenging or time consuming for it?
So the challenging thing is getting the temperature correct, as well as seasonings being able to penetrate the meat to go inside. Because a prime rib is a very giant chunk of meat, and if you put salt on it, like a little bit of salt, it's going to salt the outside and not anything else. So you have to prepare it a few days in advance, as well as the seasonings you want to put on it, and then you have to cook it at a certain temperature and you have to keep track of it because you don't want to overcook a prime rib. An overcooked prime rib is going to make me cry.
Yeah, overcooked prime rib is
Um,
very sad that spending that much money on a good piece of meat to have it be overdone is indeed a travesty.
right? Yeah, so it's just like getting like the great amount of pinkness. I know I've seen a lot of videos. Actually, it's like a TikTok thing. I've seen a lot of TikToks where people see pink in a meat and they're like, "Oh my God, it's raw. It's so raw. That's like still moving." And I'm just like,
No,
"No,
that's
that's
not.
perfectly cooked."
Children, have you never had anything that isn't well done?
Yeah,
Goodness.
I'm just like, bro, this is perfect. It's like the myoglobin, that's the protein that makes it look red. But like it's perfectly cooked, like a perfect medium rare. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be
I want
a
my
little
medium
bit,
rare. As long as it's not like
yeah.
blood red and, I don't want it blue. Usually,
Yeah.
like maybe if there's a very high-end place that I trust to cook something blue in it to be safe, I would try it. But cooking, at least for myself, I wouldn't trust it. But medium rare is where it's at. That's why that's the proper standard.
Exactly. That's what I agree with. And so like prime rib just has like a different standard of cooking where like medium rare is kind of like the thing to do. You want it to be pink on the inside and moist and juicy. And it's a little hard to do that because like a lot of people already struggle to cook their steaks to a medium rare. I feel like a lot of the times if you just cook based off of vibes like a steak, you either get um burnt on the outside and raw on the inside, or like everything is overcooked.
Yeah, that even me, that I feel like a lot of that is knowing your kitchen equipment because each oven is going to vary a little bit and, what you use, the exact temperature, even sometimes to an extent, if you cook things, in certain pots, pans, air fryers and whatnot, that figuring out where that balance is. And goodness knows I have had the very sad, okay, it's not a super expensive piece of meat or anything, but I'd spent a couple extra dollars on this one and it is brown
Exactly.
all the way through and I'm just like very sad.
Yeah, exactly. I would be so sad. That's why I have a meat thermometer. I would invest in a meat thermometer if you like to take the temperature of your meats. I use it to get the perfect temperature on steaks, and I use it to make sure my chicken is not undercooked on the inside.
Mm,
Very good purposes. But yeah, for a prime rib, it's you definitely have to take the temperature. Um, and in different places too, because the bone could be like hotter or colder depending on where you're poking in the bone. The outside obviously is like um the most hot. You have to take it from the center and stuff like that. But you also
yeah,
have to try to not overcook the outside while it's still cooking the center as well.
yep.
So
And
there's
then
just a lot to it.
the varying thickness of different cuts and even sometimes the same cut because,
Hmm.
even butchers aren't going to always have the exact same width on the fillets for a prime rib on what you end up buying there. So
And
it's a
then you
lot,
can
but
like, oh, wait, what are you saying?
I was just saying it's a lot, but when you get it right, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. I was gonna say you can like sous vide your meat to like have it reach a certain temperature and then you can like sear it afterwards and make a nice crust, but like I don't think I have any capacity to sous vide a giant prime rib.
mm, yeah,
Because prime ribs are like super heavy and they're super big. I have tubs for like I have a sous vide at home and I have tubs for the sous vide. However, I sous vide small things like steaks and lamb chops and stuff like that, but I don't think I could ever realistically sous vide a prime rib.
yeah, I sous vide fish a fair bit. That's how I like to prepare it most of the time. And other
Hmm.
times I will just buy one of the grocery stores I go to and buy my fish from just has the fish in vacuum sealed packages and pre-cut and
Ooh.
everything. And so you just throw that package in the boiling water for the right amount of time, cut it
Maybe I should
open,
do
and
that.
then boom, it's all set.
I gotta do that.
Mm,
I do have fish in my freezer that I don't know what to do with, but maybe I'll try to sous vide it. I've never really had a sous vide fish, so I might just like cook it like that just to like figure out how the taste and texture and stuff are like.
Been pretty reliable for me, but then again, I admittedly don't have the highest of standards. I have high enough standards to know that medium rare is not a bad thing, but I also I'm a very simple person, easy to please. That I experiment with spices and like a lot of different spices, but again, with my laziness, that I'm usually the type to have it be something more simple of, salt, maybe, basic lemon peppers. I am indeed from, at one point in time in my life, the state of Maryland, and I do stand by the stereotype that Old Bay is amazing, but that's basically just a variant of allspice or 5 spices types of things.
I want to try Old Bay.
It's very
I've never
good,
had
and
it in my pantry.
you can buy it at least in the U.S. nowadays at pretty much any major grocery store or even department store, like Walmart, Target, all the likes will have it, and that it's very cheap. That a big tin of it's gonna cost you maybe $3-5. Nothing crazy.
I just have a lot of seasonings already. I don't know if I.
Yeah,
I
that's
just don't know
true.
if I want more seasonings.
Yeah,
I have so
it
many.
takes so long to go through seasoning that goodness knows, even for me, and I use Old Bay a fair bit, and it takes me the better part of a year to go through a full tin. And they're not giant things like tubs of salt or anything, but it's like probably 4 inches wide, 2 inches thick, and 3 inches high or something.
Yeah, I just am a spice fiend, so like if I see something cool, I'm just like I'm getting that.
Yeah,
And so now I have so
it's
many
so easy
of
because they're
those.
usually cheap, and it's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
not a big investment,
exactly.
and spices for the most part aren't going to go bad anytime soon. So if you have a full spice rack, that's fine, as long as you're not
Yeah,
doing
there's
stuff like saffron or full cinnamon.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I have a place near me that does like pay by weight spices, and so I could just bring home a little bit of spice for like $1, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, this is sick. And so that's what I like to do. And I have too many of them. I have like, how many different types of salt do I have? I have like 5 types of different salts. I have like, I don't know, 2 types of cinnamon. I have like, it's just so many things. I have like home dried like oregano. I have home dried rosemary and stuff like that. I just like spices, man.
What is a spice that you think not enough people appreciate that is, just you can throw it on anything and it's going to be good, and that more people need to have it in their spice racks?
I need to look at my spice rack to figure that out. There's this spice. It's not like a actual spice, but it's just like the seasoning from this like chicken place that I really like, that I will not state.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really good.
Mm.
I put it on everything. I put it on like my scrambled eggs. I put it on my hash browns. I put it on my chicken. It's supposed to be for chicken. I put it on my chicken. I put it on like, I don't know, like my hot pot sometimes. Mashed potatoes.
Good rule of thumb, if something is made for quote unquote chicken or beef, that means it can probably go on darn near anything.
Yeah, but this is like my favorite of them, and I like it so much, but I can't say what it is.
Yeah, no, but that's, in and of itself, does bring up a good point of, if there is a place near you that uses their own house blend of spices or something, that not all of them, but some of them, if you say, hey, can I just buy, a container of your spice? Some of them might just say, yeah, $5 or whatever, and that if you like that, you can indeed, most of the time, take that home.
Yeah, it's because they sold it in like little packets, like what is like, those like in pizza where they give you like the Parmesan cheese and red pepper flake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sold it, or they didn't sell it. They gave it away in those. They'd be like, oh, do you want some of the seasoning? And I'd be like, yes. And there was this one time where I'm like, yes, can you give me like a lot? And then this guy just like grabs like 2 giant, like with both his handfuls, and just like throws it in my bag. He's like, "Is this good?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
perfect."
Thank you. I owe you my life.
It's because I visited pretty frequently, so he might have recognized me and realized I really like the spice. And then the next time I came back, and I'm just like, "Can I just buy a bottle of this?" Actually, no, I asked him if I could buy 3 bottles of it. And then he was like, 3? And I'm like, yes. And so I bought that. And he's like, anything else? And I'm like, no, just the spice. He's
Like
"Chicken?"
anything
I'm
off
like,
the menu? No, just the spice. Thank you.
But those little packets honestly come in handy. I used to like put one in my purse when
Oh
I
yeah,
went out.
just to have. That you never
Yeah,
know
just
where
to
you're going to be
have.
somewhere for lunch and be like, this could use a little something extra.
I've had to use that a few times actually. I wish I had more, but I don't live near there anymore, so I can't get any more.
Aw.
But I do have the bottles. We bulk the 3 bottles were because I'm moving away.
Aw.
And so I'm just like, I need
Mm.
this.
Well, if you have any family there, maybe you can ask them, hey, can you pick that up and just mail it to me or something?
Well,
Depending on
my
distance.
fiance is gonna go back in like for the holidays, so he could pick them up if I asked him to.
Very important side quest.
I don't mind. I mean, I could just like put it in a little baggie or something. I feel like that'd be cute. I maybe I need to go to the dollar store and just buy like a portable spice container.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Maybe I'll do that. It's time.
Mhm. Well, obviously, it is something that you've posted about a fair bit, and it is now central to your theme, but the catfishing bit is not just a bit. You do just enjoy IRL fishing.
I did. I went fishing like 3 days ago. I didn't catch anything though, but I went fishing anyways.
Is that something you did growing up, or was that a more recent discovery?
It's a recent thing. I went fishing maybe once, and I remember I got seasick and I threw up.
Oh, no.
And then that's the only time I remember going fishing. But I just really wanted to go fishing, and then this year for my birthday, which was in May, my fiance bought me a fishing rod, like 2 fishing rods, one for him, one for me. He was like, "Let's go fishing sometime," and I'm like, "Yes, I would love that."
Remember, if you take pictures of your fishing trip and post it on social media, it is officially a business expense.
Is it actually?
Giant asterisk, am not a tax accountant, discuss with your tax professional. To my knowledge, for the most part, if it is used for your content, you're usually able to write it off. Exactness can vary of just, was it primarily bought for content or not? Exactness varies by, country, state, this, that, the other, but for the most part, that if you use it and post about it with, more than once, with frequency, it's usually justifiable, and that, frankly, at least in the US, most tax agencies will not bother pursuing audits of people who don't make large amounts of money. Like, if you are a top, if you're multi-thousand viewer content creator pulling in tens of thousands of dollars, then you might want to be a bit more exact, but they have to determine, is it worth their auditor's time, the amount of hours that they would have to, pay them to pursue an audit of the amount that they would actually recover. And if the amount that they would recover isn't even the amount they would pay their auditor, they're not going to do it because it's just a loss for them. So, folks who are, the average content creators are usually able to have a bit more flexibility there. Hashtag not legal advice, this, that, the other, disclaimer.
I don't really post about my fishing stuff because I don't want people to be like geoguessing.
Oh, geoguessing, that's fair.
So that's why I don't do it, but I try to post blurry pictures, if any. But I don't post actual pictures because they'd be like, oh, that looks familiar.
Post the fishing rod and the inside of the boat, facing down. That way there's
I don't have a
you don't
boat.
see the
It's just the lake.
or the ground of the lake. Not the full scenic view, but
just post water.
Yeah, just water, or holding fishing rod or fishing rod on ground. because you definitely are correct. Obviously safety first,
What if
and
they
that.
geolocate my ground?
I mean, I have seen some disturbingly, slightly concerningly good GeoGuessr folks. Saw a
People are
video once of
crazy.
there was a video one time of somebody who had a mod on GeoGuessr where it blinked the screenshot of the location for a second. And that was it. And they had to guess, and that they guessed within 5 miles or something, which is just
That's crazy.
that person knows too much.
I'm scared of these people.
Yeah.
That's why I don't post these things.
Yeah. Do you cook most of the things that you catch, or do you end up throwing them back?
Well, I've only caught 3 things so far, but I cooked all of them. I made, what is it called? I stuffed it with lemon and shallots, and then I put lemon on top of it, and then I baked it in the oven. That was really good. And then the other time I tried to fillet it, but it was a small fish, so I didn't get that much meat, but also I'm not very good at filleting fish. So I only got a little bit of meat from it. But then we made fish fingers, and that was good.
I've always wondered why they call them fish fingers, because fish don't have fingers. Nor do
I think
fish
it's
fingers
because
look
it's
like fingers.
Well, I think it's just finger size. Well, mine were definitely finger size because that thing was small. I called those fish fingers because they were actually the size of my fingers. But it was still good. It's fried fish.
I have only been fishing a couple times in my life, and the most successful times have been when I went to trout farms, which is to say the easiest of easy modes of fishing of you cast the line and you will have a bite in under 10 seconds.
I want that. I didn't catch. I went fishing 3 days ago. We went to 3 different places for how many hours? It was
But that's
10
real
hours, and
fishing.
we got no fish. No fish.
Like I said, though, going to a trout farm or something is to say that is fishing to someone who fishes almost feels offensive, because it's just a secluded lake where all it is bunches of fish that are literally meant to be caught to be then cooked and eaten.
Well, I mean, that's what stocked lakes are kind of too. That people
basically.
they stock lakes. Yeah, but we couldn't catch any for some reason. We went to a stocked lake, and there was no one. There was no fish. No one was home. It was
The other
a
type of-
national holiday for them or something.
The other type of fishing is Animal Crossing. That and web fishing.
I love web fishing.
I do like fishing simulators.
I love fishing simulators.
I don't know if you play much Animal Crossing, but that's certainly where I make most of my bells. And that when web fishing came out, I think it was almost a year ago, that it is a very simple, satisfying game. And I know that you've played it a fair amount yourself, and I should probably, pick that up again sometime, because it's been a while.
I played Animal Crossing ever since I could pick up a controller. I played Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Same.
So I know what it's
we
like.
remember the days of when villagers could actually just be assholes.
Oh, I love that. I've been watching videos on where they're mean, and I'm just like, these were the glory days.
Yep, because then you could
I got
eventually
so
get them to warm
annoyed.
up to you, and that felt like a victory of you actually melted this crotchety old man's heart, and that they like you, and they might still throw in a zinger, but it's with love now.
There was this one thing that I when it's you talk to your villagers, you're just like, hey, what's going on? And then one of the questions they would ask, and one of the questions I never wanted to answer, but I always had to answer, and no matter which answer choice you go with, it's always a bad answer, is they ask you, hey, which one do you like more? Do you like eating or sleeping? If you say you like eating, then they call you fat.
Yeah,
and if
you say sleeping, they call you lazy.
Yeah, and then if you say both, they're just like, bro, you're indecisive and you're
Yeah,
fat
indecisive and gluttonous and slothful.
yeah.
Jeez, what's
yeah,
wrong
right?
with you?
There's broski, what is wrong with you? First of all, you can't have both, and the fact that you said both means a lot. And I'm just like, heck you too. There's no good options in this.
I think you, I, and many, many others always dreamed that one of the Animal Crossing updates would just be a dialogue expansion. I don't need more functionality, just give me more conversations, because that, more than anything else, is when the game starts to really wane for me, of when I feel like I have heard everything that my villagers have to say.
Yeah, because like New Horizons feels like a decoration simulator more than like a life simulator,
Yeah,
in
no,
my
like,
opinion.
I didn't get the happy home design. I don't care about that part. I just don't.
I don't either. I just want my villagers to talk with me, and it feels like an actual interaction instead of,
Yeah.
"Hi, Patchy. Did you see the clouds today? They're cool. Okay, bye."
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to
Like,
hear more about clouds. I want to hear beef you have. I want to hear about why you hate me. I want to hear about all these things.
and I wish they would give you more errands. That back in the day, that the three options were give me an errand, give me something to do, let's talk, or goodbye. And nowadays it's just talk, and sometimes you will get a RNG of, oh, I now have a thing for you to do, but those feel like gems now. It used to be,
That
all
was my
right,
favorite thing
yeah,
to do.
just the
Like I would
delivery
literally go.
quests, the fetch
Yeah.
quests, get me a fish, find me this piece of furniture, bring me a soccer ball. They were so simple, but even just the, the
It was
5-step
my
fetch
favorite thing to
quests
do.
of,
It was like I've probably done like over like
mhm,
300 of their
I
quests because I like
know.
doing them.
Yeah, because it just gives you something to do. It gives you a little bit of direction in this open world life of yours, and that
Right?
yeah.
And then I would get mad at them because they're like, "Can you get my Game Boy from this person?" But then apparently they
They
passed it
loaned it
around to
to
the
that
entire
person who loaned it to that
town.
person. Yeah, they've just the 5-step. Okay, so we went to them and them, and this person isn't at their house. They're wandering somewhere around town. So now I'm going acre by acre. Remember when we had acres? And you have to try and figure out where they went.
One of my favorite events was the Thanksgiving event because that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, and actually, just now, I don't think you can hear it on your end. The original AC theme came on. That I have a very long Nintendo playlist going. So a little bit of very funny happenstance there. Yeah, so because it was I forget what his name was.
Franklin.
It was Franklin. Yes, Franklin the turkey, because who was invited to the Thanksgiving celebration by the mayor Tortimer, and that he understandably thinks that he has been invited for dinner to be eaten. So he is hiding somewhere in town, either behind a tree or behind a house, and that you have to find him, and that you can go to because it was the fountain that was the de facto town square in the day, and get a set of silverware. And if you bring him a set of silverware, that he would give you a piece of harvest furniture, because it meant, all right, if you take away all the silverware, they can't eat me.
It's funny because like he shows you a letter where that Tortimer gave him. He's like, "Oh, we would love to have you sit here," and then he's like, "You can see where they erased sit here, and then eat you. You can see they initially wrote eat you, and then erased it, and then wrote sit with us." I was like, "That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy." These people are insane back in the day.
Yeah. Then there was Jack for Halloween, because everyone would be dressed up as Jack-o'-lantern, but you had to
When I
find
was a kid,
actual
I
Jack.
didn't understand. I was like, they'd walk up to me and they would be like, trick or treat. And I'm like, I thought I was supposed to be trick or treating you. I don't got no candy. I was hoping you would have candy. And then they'd be like, no candy. Now you're in broke people clothes. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why
you
would you do
hope
this
you
to
weren't wearing
me?
that rare shirt that you really liked.
I'm like, why? Why would you do this to me? How could you? It was awful.
And you could only buy a certain number of candies, because depending on what shop you had, they would have like 1 to 4 pieces per day for, I don't know if it was all of October or just like the week before Halloween.
I think yeah, I don't remember, but then
But there was
like,
a very distinct limited number you could get that you couldn't just stock up.
unfortunately. I like the Christmas. Well, actually, I don't know if I particularly liked it. I just thought it was funny. The Christmas event where you just try to find Jingle, and then he'll be like, "Oh, here's a present for you. Happy holidays," and stuff like that. But then if you just change your clothes
Change
and
your
you go back
clothes. You
to
can trick him. You can just do the, okay, so what are we teaching kids? Lie. Lie to get more presents.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I'm just like, bro, how could you? How heckin' could you? Awful. I never did that. I just got my one present.
Yeah. 'Cause obviously, New Horizons had a lot of really cool stuff. Finally being able to put down furniture outside was just huge, and the terraforming, while it was incredibly tedious, and I wish they had a multi-select tool that you could use, was really cool, but I don't like that it came at the cost of a lot of the personality for the villagers, and we didn't get more iterations of Nook, and we didn't get Timmy and Tommy. Well, we did get Timmy and Tommy, but, there was a very distinct exchange in that one, and I hope in whichever the next version is that we strike a bit more of a balance.
I need more mean characters. I need people to speak more of their mind instead of clouds and watering flowers. And I did like the upgrade system for Nook's Cranny. I did enjoy that one a lot. It felt like you were like developing your town in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And now they took that away, and I'm like, what now?
You mentioned that you also really enjoyed the Harvest Moon games, and I haven't played those quite as much. I've played, I think it was one on the GameCube, and I didn't actually beat it, but I played a little bit. And
A Wonderful Life?
Yes, it was Wonderful Life.
That was the one I played, like hella.
I remember I picked it up after having played Animal Crossing, and I wanted it to be Animal Crossing, and it's very much not. And I sort of bounced off of it because I had really inaccurate expectations on it. But now I feel like I need to go back and give it another shake.
It's definitely different from Animal Crossing because they're both just different genres. Animal Crossing is a life simulator, or in New Horizons, a decorating simulator.
Yeah.
But in Harvest Moon, it's a farming simulator, so all you do is farm. And I know in Animal Crossing New Horizons, they have farming. I never touched the farming, but it's just different in farming and just like getting money, getting upgrades, getting relationships with your villagers, and stuff like that. And each, I think, Harvest Moon game has like their different gimmicks. Also, Harvest Moon is called Story of Seasons now. Please play the Story of Seasons series.
I did play the first Rune Factory, which was sort of a
that one's good
half
too.
combat Harvest Moon.
A fantasy Harvest Moon. But yeah, it's just because I've been addicted to Story of Seasons lately, which is Harvest Moon, and I haven't played in a little bit just because I've been so busy, and I've also kind of like felt like I did all the stuff I needed to do in that game too, so I haven't really touched it in a bit, except the one goal I have right now that I would be striving towards is getting married. I just got a girlfriend in the game after like I think over a year. I think you're supposed to like get a girlfriend and like get married within the first year, but I'm on like year 2 and I just got a girlfriend in the game. So I do have things to strive towards. It's just I've been focused on money. It's all money. I need to build my money up before anything.
Are there any Wonderful Life aside, is there a particular entry in that franchise that you would say is your favorite?
No, I didn't play any of the other ones. I just liked it. I just liked the GameCube one.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends that really swore by that one, which is why I feel like I need to go back and try it, because that is definitely one of the quintessential early farming sims that really, I feel, sort of made it in the West.
Yeah, cause like I played it when I was probably like 5 years old, and I didn't understand anything. I don't know how to take care of animals. I don't even know how to run a farm. I don't know how plants work. In particular, I don't know how fertilizer works. I don't know the concept of selling and all these things. Like, I didn't understand the stock market in Animal Crossing when I was a kid. I didn't understand any of these things. So, like, I just kind of, I didn't know what I was doing. I would, like, pass out. I would, like, have bad dreams. I would not have any, like, crops in my fields. Everyone except my horse is dead because my horse is immortal. Like, my cow's dead and
Oh
everything. My
no.
cow's, like, stuff is, like, it's, like, be great forever or something, and I'm just like, I don't know how to play this game.
It was a
But
lot more complex than Animal Crossing. That was probably also part of why I bounced off of it.
yeah, it's definitely a lot more complex because you get punished a lot easier. But then I revisited it as like a teenager, and I'm just like, oh, I understand these things now. I have to like feed my cow first of all, and don't leave my cow in the rain every single day. Because that's what I did as a kid. I just left it in the rain. I didn't feed it. Well, actually, I didn't know how to feed it, so I didn't feed it. It needed medicine. I don't know how to get medicine. I don't even have money to afford medicine. So it's just hard. I didn't understand. But now as an adult, I'm married with a kid now, but I never, like, what's it called? I never finished that save file or anything.
You mentioned you're also a very big fan of, I guess in some ways it might be a farming simulator in that you have sort of crops and that you sort of tend to them and try to make sure they don't die. Pikmin's definitely a farming simulator if you think about it hard enough.
I don't know about that.
Well, they're
I guess
plants.
so.
You have to water them. You have to grow them. You have to make sure that they survive somehow.
I don't think you water them. I think for most of them, if
that's
you
right.
water them, they die.
Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah, everything except the blue one is actually just deathly allergic to water.
I don't think you water any of them. I think if you water them, it's like holy water on like a demon. It just burns them. Yeah, so I mean, I guess you just bring them back, they sprout, you pluck them up, and then they don't get hungry. You could feed them, but that's to power them up, but that's not to like actually give them nourishment or anything.
I played the first Pikmin on GameCube and wound up in a soft lock because you could just, if you didn't get enough pieces every day, that you could end up in, just running out of time.
Total extinction.
And after that, I did not feel the motivation to start a new file after having already put in however many hours on this first one. So I just never beat Pikmin 1 and never picked up any of the others since then. But going from being what was this quirky little one-off new thing on the GameCube, it has now become one of Nintendo's mainstays, and that I know a lot of other people really enjoy it, and it also falls under that umbrella of games I should probably give another chance.
I started with Pikmin. Well, I watched a lot of gameplay about Pikmin 1 and 2, and then I'm like, I want to play a Pikmin game. And so I got Pikmin 3 when it came out, and it was beautiful, and it was great, and I liked it a lot. And then I got Pikmin 4 when it came out, and then I played it, and I also liked it. But I mostly just like the little fellas and all the memes about the little fellas. They're so cute. I have a water bottle that's just decorated with Pikmin stickers, and I love it, and it's so good.
They are just funny little guys. And I imagine that by the time Pikmin 3 was out, that they'd probably refined a lot of the systems that were a bit rougher in the first go-around.
They definitely experimented, because in the first Pikmin, you just have Olimar. In the second Pikmin, you have Olimar and Louie. And the third one, Olimar and Louie are not there. You have 3 people you control, though, this time. So I was just like, 3 people? How am I supposed to control 3 people? It's actually, I don't like controlling 3 people. I think controlling 2 people is better than controlling 3 people. But they fixed that in Pikmin 4, at least. So it was an interesting concept that they played around with having 3 people. And then it was like a juice system. So like your timer is based off of how well you can collect things as well, just like in Pikmin 1. So you collect, the premise is you collect fruit and fruit seeds, so because your old planet is dying, they don't got food, so you need to get food for them, and you need food for yourself too, so you find food for yourself and you find food for back home. And then So you get the food and then you juice it for yourself. But if you run out of juice, it's game over. So if you don't find enough fruit, it's game over. And then there's this concept in the middle of the game where all of your like if you have like 200,000 juices stored up, right? There's this little gremlin that's like really hungry and takes all of your juice and runs off with it. And you have to start from scratch until you get him back and get your food back.
Now, does this gremlin appear no matter what, or only if you have an excess amount?
Only, well, no, sorry. No matter what, it's a story requirement.
Okay. So one way or another, you will be reset in the middle of the game. I wasn't sure if this was sort of...
It's only for like a few days until like you complete that plot point, and then you get all of your stock back anyway. So, but you're back to, it's like you're comfortable with like having like a bunch of days. You're just like, oh, I have like 20 days worth of food left. I'll be good.
Then it's all right. No matter where you are, this is now a challenge.
Fruit now.
Yeah.
Now we need fruit, and we need him back because he has all our fruit. So yeah, it's just like a objective that you need to do, but it was cool. I panicked.
Yeah, that's fun from a design standpoint of, okay, let's make the player suddenly have incredible urgency, that it doesn't matter how much preparation they've put in, that right now, whatever design level we have here is something that they must address, and that from a design standpoint, actually, those are probably the easiest ones because you know exactly what the player is going to have to work with, that it's going to be the most controllable design-wise other than the actual first level of the game.
Because the premise in Pikmin 3 is just like get food to go back, right? But also your ship's broken, by the way.
Of course. So well, if it wasn't broken, would it be Pikmin?
So you're trying to find this guy named Olimar. Who is that? Who the hell is this Olimar guy?
Ooh, how mysterious.
So you're trying to find Olimar to like help him fix your ship, basically. So you're going on these like search missions while you're getting fruit, and so you're just stuck there until then. But you find Olimar's partner, Louie. Louie's the one who took all your stuff, by the way.
Wait, you buried the lead there, Pachi, of just like, oh, this gremlin, this terrible mischief maker comes in and steals your stuff. It's just Louie.
It's just Louie. You know how hungry he is.
Oh,
He's always
Louie.
looking for food. No, it's this evil villain who took our food. Oh, it's just Louie.
Now I can't even be angry at him. It's like, I'm imagining this sort of, you even describe him as a gremlin. And like, oh man, this troublemaker who, it's still Pikmin. There's probably not going to be an actual pure evil character or anything. But all right, this one that you have to kind of knock upside the head and get, hey, get that back. And well, now it's just Louie, and I don't even know if I can be mad at him.
Except when he gets tied up, you catch him, you tie him up, and he's like, food, I want food, and he's just taking your whole supply. What do you mean more food? What do you mean?
How did you carry all of that?
I don't know, man. So much food, so much fruit juice. It was funny. It was like funny.
Do you have a favorite fruit?
I like lychees. Lychees are yummy.
Yeah, lychees are like, I never had a actual lychee until I was probably in my 20s. That I'd had lychee flavored things earlier on, either as candies or whatnot. But that lychees are not easy to come by, at least in North America, unless you're going to specialty grocery stores and such.
Well, I grew up with them because my family were like from Southeast Asia, and so we would go to like Southeast Asian supermarkets, and we would just find lychees there. There'd be just like an abundance of lychees over there, and we'd just eat that.
Yeah.
And they were delicious. But the great thing about lychees and lychee flavored stuff is lychee flavored stuff tastes almost exactly like lychees, in my opinion. So the flavor, it's not like banana flavor where it's like,
oh yeah, artificial banana is like, not banana.
Yeah, it's not like that where you literally lose all of the original flavor. Lychee flavor is actually pretty similar to the actual fruit, in my opinion. So that's why I like it.
Yeah. I like pineapple a lot. I am someone who does like pineapple on pizza, but I also fully agree with the general sentiment that a lot of places do it poorly, that if your pizza is wet, it's been done wrong. You want pineapple that is, juicy, but not going to make your pizza soggy, because that's just going to ruin it, absolutely. And that you don't overload the thing with pineapple. You put on a couple of small chunks to complement whatever other flavors you have on there.
I agree. I don't like pineapple on pizza, but I do not smite people for having pineapple on pizza. People can have whatever they want. Unless it looks offensive, then I will probably smite you. But like you said, it's like a balance of everything. You don't want it like sopping wet. But if someone were to pour like a can of pineapples with the pineapple juice onto a pizza, I would be very offended.
It's just ruined. Yeah, I've had bad pineapple pizza and it said, if this was my introduction to pineapple on pizza, I wouldn't have it again. And I know that there's a number of people that have been turned off by it because whoever made their first pineapple pizza just didn't do it well.
Yeah. I just don't like sweet and savory profiles, so it's just
That's
not
fair.
for me.
If the general part of sweet and savory doesn't appeal to you, yeah, you're not going to enjoy pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
I love sweet and savory. That is something I actively seek out.
That is something I actively avoid.
That's fair. That I have this weird thing where I don't like most forms of melted cheese. Like, I'm fine with cheese on pizza. I'm fine with a block of cheese, like a charcuterie board or, whatever. That's fine. I do not care for nacho cheese. I do not care for mac and cheese. If it is, like, melty gooey, it is a consistency thing, is my best guess, but yeah.
That's fair. Honestly, I get it. For me, for sweet and savory, like, I'm okay with things like barbecue sauce and like, what's it called? Like, Korean barbecue and stuff like that. But like, I think bulgogi, sometimes they make it too sweet and then I don't like that. Like teriyaki, I don't like teriyaki sauce. I don't like...
Teriyaki has to be done right.
Yeah, I don't like Sweet Baby Ray's because that's too dang sweet. I like a homemade barbecue sauce where they add like tang and like not too sweet and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like pineapple on pizza. I don't like what's it called? Like at Asian bakeries, they'll typically put like a little sweet glaze on top of their bread, even if it has like sausage in it. I don't like that. So there's just a lot of things I don't like, but there's also some things like I do like and I'm tolerant of and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you try to feed me a sweet and savory thing, I will likely not like it.
Opinions on peanut butter and chocolate?
Well, first of all, peanut butter is my least favorite thing in the world.
Oh, well, that's entirely fair.
I think it's a good combination. I just don't particularly like it. I'm the type of person who like knows good flavor combinations and like I can imagine it being good. However, I just hate peanut butter, so it's not for me.
Yeah, same thing of just, I do not like melted cheese. I know that most people love mac and cheese, that most people really like, nacho cheese, melted cheese, and all these types of things. I acknowledge that I am the oddity here. But you can't change your taste buds, and sometimes things just don't agree with your taste buds.
It do be like that. I agree.
Is there anything that you really do enjoy that most people do not enjoy?
Well, since I'm from Southeast Asia, I feel like I like a lot of weird things, like intestines. I like intestines a lot. And then there's this one food, you probably heard of it, called balut. It is basically like an egg that was fertilized, and then you cook it, and then you can see the baby slash duck slash chicken, and then you eat that. And a lot of people are weirded out by it because it's like you're literally looking at like an unborn like duck or chicken fetus, right? But it's like a staple street food slash snack in Southeast Asia. So like I grew up used to it, but I know a lot of people are like, what the hell? What is that? I never want to eat that. And I'm like, that's totally fine. It's not for everyone for sure. It is not for the faint of heart. So I can agree with that.
Like, I hear that description and I think, huh, that sounds very different. I would like to try one right now. Yes, thank you, please. I'm a very adventurous meat eater that as long as I have relative assurance that the dish is not going to be hazardous to my health, I will try it.
It's definitely not hazardous.
Yeah, that I don't have any food allergies, and that, if it's, at a restaurant that has been in business for more than like a week, that I'm going to trust it. Of just, okay, this is someone who knows how they're preparing this thing, and that it's been served to however many countless other customers. And if it was hazardous, somebody prior to me would have had that issue, and this place would either not be serving it or be closed down by that point. So I'll try whatever. I do not mind intestines or whatnot. I can understand why some people sort of have that mental friction with it, but at the end of the day, if you think about it, meat is meat. Doesn't matter which animal it's from or which part it is. That I don't mind different chewy consistencies. I actively actually try to have different things. When I visited Japan for the first time last year, I made a point to look at a menu and say, what have I never had before? What am I going to have difficulty finding? I tried like 4 different types of horse sashimi, 3 of which I liked, one of which just tasted like bologna and was very sad because it was like, well, if I wanted bologna, I would pay a fifth of the price and just eat bologna. The others were very good. I had shark cartilage at one point with, it was like shredded shark cartilage with plum, and just other ones of, what is the weirdest thing I can find on this menu that isn't obscenely expensive?
Yeah, so for me, it was like, I don't know. I didn't really think of too much adventurous foods or anything, so at least in Japan. But I do just like eat a lot of weird things. Like, I mean, my favorite thing I had when I was overseas on my latest trip was actually intestines. So, that was really good, and it was not supposed to be part of my main trip. Actually, it was just like, we had a layover in Korea, and then that's what happened. We just had intestines because I'm just like, I really want intestines. So we went to a place, we got intestines, and it was really good.
Nice. Any particular type of intestines? Was it like, beef, pork intestines, or
It was beef intestines. So like a cow has multiple intestines and multiple stomachs, so you can get different types of textures and flavors from those different intestines and stomachs, and they're all really good. I really like all of them.
because I knew that cows had multiple stomachs. I never even thought about it until you said it. Of, naturally there would be some variance in the stomachs and therefore in the intestines. It makes perfect sense as soon as you say it. But yeah, that's neat. Now I guess I just need to try even more intestines now.
Because like there's one part of the intestine, I think it's like a small intestine, where it's like more chewy. It has more of like a livery taste, and like texture sometimes. But then there's the big intestine, which is like like very different. It's like fatty, but not in like a fatty sense. It looks fatty and it tastes fatty, but it doesn't feel fatty. Like you don't feel like groggy afterwards, kind of thing.
Yeah. That one of the horse sashimi I had was horse neck fat sashimi, and that it, for lack of a better term, was creamy. That that you could sort of taste the fattiness, but it didn't have the, like when you eat fat and that it is a chunk of fat in a steak or something, that it wasn't like difficult to chew. You have to chew it multiple times. It was just soft. It was just soft in that, 1-2 bites, you'd be through it. And it's very difficult to describe, but it was very good.
That's interesting. I've never heard of like horse meat being described as like fatty and creamy.
Well,
That's so interesting.
Because this was specifically, it was horse neck fat sashimi. So it
Well,
technically wasn't even meat.
oh, that's so weird. That's so interesting to serve too, I feel like.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was just looking on the menu of, okay, what is something here that I haven't seen on other menus on my trip so far? And I was like, sure haven't seen that.
I would try it, but like, I don't know. There's some people who definitely have to be in a mood to be like adventurous and stuff like that. Are you that type of person, or do you just like, are you just like adventurous all the time?
I'm just generally adventurous, and especially when I'm on a trip of, okay, I am not going to have this option again anytime soon. Might as well do it now.
That's totally fair. Yeah, I don't mind being adventurous, but also like I'm already down with most things. Like if you asked me to eat like pig brain or something, I'd probably be like, yeah, sure, why not? So, and I think it's interesting because like the fact that people like don't like these other parts of like the animal are because I'm thinking I can't speak for everyone or anything, but it's like the more dirty parts, I guess, like the less desirable because it's like not meat. It's like people typically throw them away. Like how do you eat blood? Like how do you eat like these intestines and stuff like
Yeah.
that? So
And I feel
yeah.
like,
But I like them.
yeah. And I think part of that probably is generational holdover from, rewind the clocks, even 100, 200 years, that those are the parts that are naturally going to be dirtier and more prone to having disease and not be served or eaten, because at that point in time, we don't have the knowledge and technology to do so safely. Whereas nowadays we have more of those techniques and knowledge of how you can serve it, but that, back in the day, people would be told, don't eat this part because it will make you sick. And at that point in time, it was true. And it's just not the same now as it was then.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like nowadays, because everything's getting regulated more properly, then people could eat these things. I think it's just like ingrained into their brains and generations that it's probably not okay to eat them. But I'm just like, yummy, delicious.
That I know I'm not the first person to try this, that if it's being served at any sort of restaurant, inevitably, the people making it have probably had it many, many times themselves. And that's my threshold of, okay, it's been proven as safe for human consumption. And obviously enough people think it is good enough to be some part of a sustained business, that's the data I need. Sure, let me try it.
Delicious. I love trying new things.
Is there anything that you haven't had yet that you want to try and make it a point to try?
I tried to do this on my last Japan trip, but I really wanted to try like fish melt. I had it in like a restaurant, but it was fried and it literally was so disappointing. I was hoping it would be like creamy and like have a different flavor, but it literally, like, if you fed me that and fried fish, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, if I gotta be honest with you.
Oh, that's the worst. And that feels very similar to me with whichever variant of
bologna?
horse sashimi. Yeah, that was bologna. Just when it is similar to something that you already know, and that it is something that is, just fried fish is generally considered a cheaper, blander thing. It's a very unique type of disappointment because you have the anticipation of, okay, trying something new. Let's see what it is. Oh, I know what this is. And it is something that is either very basic, something I don't like, or something I could have gotten elsewhere.
Yeah, but like I want to go back and try like different versions because there's like versions where they just boil it and they put it in like ponzu sauce. And there's other ways to serve it. You can put it in like a sushi and stuff like that too. So I want to try it in those things and not where it's like battered and deep fried and it just tastes like fried fish. So I probably just had it at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But I want to try it again.
I found a picture of horse fat sashimi. I'm going to bring that up in a second. Bouncing around a little bit, you mentioned that, obviously, in addition to Pikmin and others, that you're a big fan of Nintendo, but Mario and Zelda in particular. Do you have any favorites from those franchises?
I like Wind Waker from Zelda. That was my first ever, and still I like it because of the art style and the gameplay and everything. Um, I like Twilight Princess. That was my second one, and is also my second favorite. Um, I just like the story Zelda games. I played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and they were good, but like I just have a preference and sweet spot for like the very story based versions of Zelda, especially like the linearness of them.
Yeah, I can definitely
Um,
appreciate that. It's so difficult to compare the two Switch Zelda games to any of
just
the
so
others.
different.
Yeah.
I actually played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U because I didn't have a Switch, I just had a Wii U.
Oh wow, what was the performance like on the Wii U? I imagine that was a little bit rough.
It was fine. Well, I wouldn't know compared to a Switch, but it was fine. But yeah, so there was that. I played Skyward Sword. A lot of people didn't like that one because of the motion controls, but I thought it was fine.
I didn't like Skyward Sword because I thought that the story was actually just weak. I didn't mind the controls. I thought that it was not as good on every other conventional axis of development, actually.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I agree with that. The gameplay was a little lacking too, so I can see that too. I didn't like the Twilight Realm. Is that what that's called in that game? I don't Trials? The Trials realms?
Yeah, because like the collecting all the little music notes things.
I hated those.
Yeah, no, that was
My
just
least
tedious.
favorite.
That was that felt like they were
It's
trying to
tedious
buy
and
time.
scary.
Mhm.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
What else did I play? I played Link Between Worlds. I have watched a lot of things about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I've also watched gameplay of games like Minish Cap, and I actually haven't watched Link to the Past.
I never beat Link to the Past. I got to pretty late in the game, but the problem I have with a lot of the 2D Zeldas is that they get really unforgiving of just, oops, I brushed a pixel up against something and there goes 3 hearts.
Yeah, it really just be like that, but yeah, I haven't had too much time with the 2D Zelda games very much. I know I played, what is it? Phantom Hourglass? That was my least favorite. I hated Phantom Hourglass.
I am shaking your hand virtually, Pachi, of Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks are the weakest the franchise has ever been.
I never played Spirit Tracks, but
Spirit Tracks is worse than Phantom Hourglass. It is. I will die on the hill of Phantom Hourglass, of Spirit Tracks. I think is just the worst Zelda game. It's not, and the thing is, it's still not a bad game. It is a fine game, average to above average by most metrics. But Legend of Zelda has a higher standard than that, and by those standards, it is a poor game.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I really hated Phantom Hourglass, and I never played Spirit Tracks, but I did not hear a lot of good things about Spirit Tracks either.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen a lot with the handheld ones, of just they're limited in a lot of ways, but it is what it is, and that they wanted to get something with one of their, flagship franchises onto their flagship handheld system. So, yeah. Also, Monday's Child, welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. But it's funny, the Wind Waker was also my first Zelda game that I ever played and beat, followed by Twilight Princess. For me personally, I rank Twilight Princess above Wind Waker, but those were my first two as well. And as you were going through things, you said that you have watched a lot of things for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, implying that you have not played or beaten those games yourselves.
I have not, but
Once again, I'm
like
shaking your hand virtually. It is one of those things on that giant list of things I know I need to play but have not, and that it feels almost heretical to not have actually played Ocarina of Time, but I didn't own an N64 growing up. I played N64 at friends' houses, grew up playing Mario Kart 64, the early Mario Party games, Pokemon Stadiums, but, you weren't going to play those one-player long experiences at a friend's house, so I just never played them, and I never got it on the DS.
Yeah, I just never had an N64 either, so I just never played them. But I just really like watching videos about them, so I have a lot of knowledge of watching videos about them.
Yeah, I'm saying that I know what happens in those games, obviously, and I know a lot of the different mechanics, and they seem like fine games, but it's just, I don't know, maybe I've seen so much that I don't really feel the motivation to play them all through myself.
Yeah, maybe that. I feel like that might be it. Also the time. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
they're
not
very
enough
long
time to play
games.
through all these. I do like Twilight Princess a lot. It's just I think I just have like a big nostalgia factor for Wind Waker, especially because of the art style. But
That's
Twilight
very
Princess,
fair.
like the gameplay and like the visuals and everything were really good, but also I can never play the game again because my arachnophobia got worse, and unfortunately,
Oh,
yeah, Twilight Princess got some crazy
yeah,
things for
it
that.
do have some, that is some of the most realistic spider stuff that the franchise has had, and if you are not someone for spiders, that is entirely fair.
Yeah, I beat it as a kid. Like, I beat it a few times as a kid because, like, I wasn't as arachnophobic. But now it's gotten worse, and now I can't play them no more.
Aw. I will say for me, part of what makes Twilight Princess my favorite, I do like it overall, better than Wind Waker. Not that there's anything wrong with Wind Waker. I think it's still great. I just enjoy, I think, the terrain a lot more, horse and as the wolf, as opposed to the sailing. I like a lot of the items better. I really like the spinner, which they didn't bring back. The double hook shot was big. And that I think Twilight Princess has the best final boss sequence of any game in the franchise, and one of the best final boss sequences in gaming.
So true. It's so banger. I really like it. Except I got frustrated on the horseback portion. Because I was just like, please, just aim. Just do it. Just shoot him, please.
That one was always the hit or miss. Like the first time I played it, for whatever reason, it was very easy. Got it on the first try. And then the second time I tried to beat it, I had to try 3 or 4 times. And I was just like, I don't remember it being this hard. Why is it so difficult?
Yeah, I'm just like, broski, I just, please, Zelda, aim. Aim, please. But my favorite, phase of that boss fight was the beast one for sure. I like the beast one. I do not particularly care for tennis.
Yeah, my favorite is, I feel like it's low-hanging fruit, but the final actual sword fight is my favorite bit of just, it's so cinematic and it was very fun. And the first time that I beat it, because it has you do the finishing move as the last thing, that I saw the prompt and I literally stood up out of my chair and said, that's it, as I hit the A button to do that final strike. And it was just such a cool moment. But
it is
after
cool.
that,
It's
definitely the beast.
it's like aura.
Yeah.
There's so much aura in that.
And to bring it full circle of the literal first technique that you learn.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's like, I see speedrunning videos of Twilight Princess where they need to get the finishing strike or else they literally can't finish the game, which is so silly.
Oh yeah, that's right. You actually mentioned that you do some speedruns yourself. Which games?
I only speed ran Mario 64 16-star speedrun. I practiced it for an okay bit, and then I did one run, and it was sub-hour, and I said, good enough.
That's fair, and that's more than I've ever done on speedrunning.
I just like watching the videos. I'm a big video watcher of speedruns. I like seeing all their silly little texts, but I don't think I could pull them off myself because I think I get frustrated if I was on a time-based limit.
Yeah. Seeing a good, knowledgeable speedrunner is like watching someone doing a dance, because they know the motions that they need to go through, and it is just them performing those motions that they have practiced. But it's still just so fascinating to watch. And when you get a high-level speedrunner who is able to not only perform that dance, but explain it as they're doing it, because they're so good at it that they're able to do those motions and not have to even be that full locked in where they can be casually explain, you have to do this, and in a little bit I'm going to have to do that, and it's a bit of a trickier part because this, that, the other. And it's like, how are you multitasking to that degree? Like, multitasking
Right?
is one
They're
thing, but on something as
crazy.
exact as speedrunning.
They're so crazy with it. I respect it. I like it a lot. I like watching them a lot, so
Yeah.
they're so entertaining.
Do you have any favorite speedrun either games or types to watch? Is it mostly Mario, or are there other ones?
Mostly 3D Zeldas, actually. I like to watch
Ah.
3D Zelda speedruns, but
Mhm.
I know I wanted to try to get into it, but 3D Zelda specifically, is like one of the worst ones to want to get into because it takes so much time, and if you mess up in the middle, it's like over basically.
Yeah,
So it's
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, it's like really hard. But for like, that's why Mario 64 16-star speedruns are the easiest to get into because you can just what's it called? You can just like go in, like each star is a different section, so you can just go to 1 star. If you messed up, that's okay. Just get out, go back in, kind of thing. Or you can reset the run. You can do that, but you just go out, get back in. Everything resets. You're on your 15th star. You mess up, you just go out, go back in.
Might cost
it's
you a minute or
fine.
two, but you're not having to do a full reset there. And that, like you said, the full thing successful can be done in under an hour, so it's not as daunting a task, I suppose.
For sure.
I've seen some really cool Sonic Adventure 2 speedruns, and on some of the later levels, when it's up in space, the shortcuts that people do of just, all right, I'm going to now fall through half of this level to land on this rail near the end because I know the pathing of where everything is actually laid out, and just the exactness of the hitboxes on those rails are not big, but they know how to do it, and they make it look so effortless.
Right? They make it look so cool and easy, and I'm just like, definitely no, it's not that easy. They're just like, it's frame perfect, and I'm like, how do you get that frame good every time? How'd you do that?
And that's why I compare it to a dance that they have just practiced those motions over and over and over.
Which is a super fair thing to like compare it to.
Mhm.
They're crazy, and it's so entertaining to watch, just like dancing.
You mentioned you also really like different game theory videos. Are there any ones that you've seen recently that have really sort of gotten you thinking?
Not in particular. I just like to look at it and I'm just like, oh, it's an interesting like thing to think about. But not anything where it's just like, oh, what the hell, brain blast. Most of them are pretty like tame for the most part, in my opinion.
I like seeing different theory videos about either, Pokemon world building, because they give you all these different scraps of knowledge, but that they never really connect them, and people finding these distant parts of information and saying, this would seem to suggest this, that, the other. It's like, oh, I could see that. And just in general, I enjoy different world building and seeing people making the different theories, the game theory.
Yeah, it's definitely really interesting to see everyone's different takes on it. Because, like, I don't really think about them too much, so, like, I don't really care too much. But then people are just like, oh, yeah, we have this, we have that. And I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting take on all these things. And so I like to watch that in my free time. Lately, I've been... I've been watching a bunch of, like, history of Club Penguin videos. So.
Oh, okay.
I love Club Penguin.
So I guess
my beloved.
I know of Club Penguin. I never actually played Club Penguin.
You never played Club Penguin?
One of my siblings did. One of my siblings played Club Penguin a lot, but I missed the boat on that one. But I don't know enough to know what the theories would be about Club Penguin.
Well, no, it's not theories, it's just history.
Oh, okay.
I like to watch history videos more than theory videos, but, like, I do like theory videos sometimes too. I used to watch more, but now, as of late, it's mostly been history videos, like history of like the speed run of this video, history of this. So I like to watch those. I think there's a channel that's dedicated to the history of like speedrunning Nintendo games actually. So I like to watch that one. They don't upload very often, but they do take in like the top speedrunners for that game, and they'll have them explain like the history of it because they're actively in the history,
Yeah,
and
you're
it's kind
getting
of funny.
the experts.
Yeah, it's kind of funny like hearing them talk about themselves in third person. They're just like there's a really popular 3D Zelda speedrunner whose name's Gymnast, and then he'll just refer to himself in third person. He's like, Gymnast got the world record for like the 10th time, and I'm just like, that's you.
That's okay, that's a little weird. That you can just say I.
They're just trying to say it in like an informational way.
That's
so
fair.
They're not just like me, it was me. Because it's not their channel either, so
True, yeah.
It's just like a channel that invites like a bunch of them to like help with the thing in their respective things.
Yeah. What about Club Penguin's history was particularly interesting? Is there a certain event or part of the game's history or development that was particularly unusual, I suppose?
Just as an MMO, there's just been a lot of a development in general. Because they'll just have like collabs, they'll have like different games that come out, they'll like rework these things, rework that things for different reasons. Like they got like sold to Disney and stuff like that. So Disney was just like, hey, you can do this and do that, you can't do this, you can't do that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see the insights about all of it. And like for these videos, they got the original developers of Club Penguin, and they're just like, hey, what do you like and not like about these things kind of thing, right? Like, what did you have in mind? What was the plan for this? What went wrong? What went right kind of thing? It's interesting to hear all those different perspectives for sure.
Are there any games that you would like to see a history of video that hasn't been made yet, that assume that they would have the ability to get the creators and really get a full deep dive on it? What would you want to see the history of?
That's hard. I was gonna say Toontown, but there's people who have definitely done that.
The resurgence of Toontown in the past couple years has been very interesting. Once again, as someone who didn't play it, but just I remember seeing the commercials for it as a kid and then realizing, wait, Toontown is still alive, / somehow people were able to get the entirety of Toontown and set up their own, like, personal independent servers for it.
It was great. I play on one of them. I haven't played in a while, but I do play on them as well. So it's pretty fun. It's very nostalgic. Most of them are like, I know it's a kids game, but most of the people on that on Toontown are people
nowadays.
Who are just nostalgic. They're just like, oh, I'm in my like mid-20s or like 30s or something, and I just like wanted to play again because I played a lot and and I got my kids playing stuff. Yeah, Neopets! Oh my god, I played Neopets so long ago before they had their website revamp. I remember when it literally looked just like a...
It was a giant Flash thing.
Yeah,
with
it's
just a lot of links.
a white website with like pictures on
Yep,
it.
yep. I remember the usual go-to of, what was it? It was the giant omelet, the wheel of... Because there was a Wheel of Misfortune. I don't think it was the Wheel of Fortune because that was copyrighted, but it was something in the fairy area.
Wheel of Cheese. I forget.
Yeah, well, there was also the Wheel of Cheese. There was the Tiki Tack Tombola Shack. And just, you know, what are the different daily freebies that you can get to? And then figuring out which games had the best Neopoint payout. That there was, like, this doubloon game where it was... You had to row around in a boat and get different things, and that the payout of points to Neopoints I found was just much, much higher than most of the other games. So, you know, always play that one, and when do you cash in? Because you could only actually cash your Neopoints 3 times a day. You could play as many times, but you need to decide, all right, is this score going to be high enough to be worthwhile? and
Mhm.
this, that, the other. It was a mini game unto itself there.
There's just so much. I just clicked on everything, but then I also got confused on everything. It's because like it just is one line of text that pops up saying what happened. I'm just like I don't even know what
Yeah,
the hell just happened.
and I didn't spend any money on it because I was a kid, so there was all those really expensive things. It was like, how am I supposed to get 1,000,000 Neo points? How does anyone get that? That's just unrealistic.
Right? There's just so many Neo points. You gotta be a Neopets millionaire. Oh yeah, and there's a lottery too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, you could become a millionaire.
Mhm. Remember, kids, gambling is good.
Gambling is something.
It sure is. I am very fortunate in that, for whatever reason, I am immune to gacha games. I don't know why, but somehow it just doesn't. I understand why people like them, but it doesn't spark joy for me, and I think I'm lucky because I get to watch other people have their success when they pull that fraction of a percent thing, but I also don't have the pain of I did 200 pulls and didn't get the banner character.
No, that's totally fair. I mean, don't spend your money. People spend so much money on these gacha games. Me kind of included, but I stopped playing gacha games. I spent about 130 in Genshin. I spent about 150 in Honkai. And then I spent 100 of not my own money on ZZZ. So...
And I assume that's, over many months of playing the game.
Years.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Many
those are perfectly
years.
reasonable amounts.
So, I feel like it's not even that bad. People spend like thousands on gacha
I was going to say, I know
games.
people that'll
not
spend
that.
150 on a single event in Genshin or ZZZ. That 150 over multiple years of play, that's, you're supporting the developer at that point.
But yeah, it's fun, but like I don't have time or patience for it anymore,
Mhm.
personally.
Yeah. I haven't even had time lately because things have been very busy for me I haven't finished beating Pokemon Legends ZA, and I just picked up the other day a game that I thought I would like play on release day and be super deep into, and that's Kirby Air Riders, because
Oh.
I loved Kirby Air Ride. It was 4 years. You go back to early episodes of VTuber Talk and you will hear me say, like, my wish list of games to be remade, Kirby Air Ride in top 2, 3. And when they finally announced it, like, I teared up. I legitimately teared up. I was so happy. And I've been so busy this past week, I haven't even actually played it yet. Hopefully this next week, though.
Yeah, hopefully. I've seen things about Kirby Air Riders, but I haven't really like seen too much. But I did see a TikTok clip like earlier today where there was this Kirby with a giant laser cannon that just blasted like probably like 7 people, and I'm just like, what the
Nice.
hell is Kirby Air Riders?
It's not a
I didn't
racing game. The most important thing to understand about Kirby Air Ride is it is not a racing game.
I thought it was a racing game.
It is a game that happens to have vehicles that you can potentially race on.
That's crazy.
That it is... The best part of it, which is City Trial, is a... Like, I don't even know if I'd call it a PvP party game, but it is a... It's just... It's so different. I think they did a great job, actually, with the Nintendo Directs explaining what it is, but otherwise, I would say just pick it up and play it. It is not a difficult game mechanically at all. There is literally only 2 buttons. That was one of the big things, that the first game only had 1, and that they doubled the complexity. Just incredible levels of scope creep here.
That's crazy. 2 buttons from 1 button.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a fun one. Highly recommended.
I see a lot of people like hyping it up, so... But I don't know if I would get it myself because I also don't have time. I don't have the time right now to do all this.
Are there any games that you're looking forward to the upcoming release of, or games that are, when you finally have time that you've been meaning to get around to?
not at the current moment, I would say. Yeah, not currently.
Mm. Well, I suppose in some ways that's probably a good thing because you are so busy. In the current projects that you're working on, obviously keeping things very, very broad and vague, is there anything that has been a particular challenge?
Just like general projects?
Yeah, whether it be if there's something for a video and, again, as vaguely as it needs to be of, there's this certain segment where I'm having to work on timing or I'm working with a visual effect, and you don't need to say what that visual effect is, but that is there anything you're tinkering around with that has been a challenge or anything that when it's released you're really looking forward to people seeing that you thought you did really well?
Well, I am working on a few recording-based projects right now. Some of them are a little bit outside of my scope, but I'm excited, but also very nervous to be doing them because I don't know if my voice is very well fitting for these things. Because I'm not a singer by any means, but people like when I produce covers, so I just do them anyways. But yeah, I guess I just struggle vocally with like being able to have a style. I feel like with when it comes to singing with songs and stuff like that, because like I know there's some people who are good at like hitting high notes. There's some people who are good at like rapping. There's some people who are good at like having like a little growl in their voice. Like there's like metal screamings and stuff like that. But I feel like since I haven't dabbled in any of that, I have a very baseline like type of voice for all these recordings, and it's hard for me when I want to do something that's a little more specialized, I would say.
Yeah, I've only done a couple of songs myself, and that, I sang a bit in school. I was not in chorus consistently, but I know basics of singing, and I think my voice is fine, but I've only done 2 covers and it hid behind an Alistair filter for both of them. Well, most of them.
Yeah, but it's just tough. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
But you did release one recently. It was Pop In 2.
I did, in fact, release that one recently. It was hard because it was so high. Like my collab mates, they're like they can sing high, but like I'm not a very high pitched person in general, so it was a little hard for me. So I was struggling a little bit. Also, I know this was a long time ago, but I finally focused up and found the clip of the receipt printer.
Oh.
If you want that. I have a version where it doesn't work correctly, if you want that.
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Then I also have a version that does work correctly. So I'll give you both. Yeah. So this is the version that doesn't work correctly. Let me find the one that does work correctly.
Stand by, folks. Just getting this here.
It's really loud, so I wouldn't suggest playing the audio.
Ah, gotcha.
But you can if you want. It's just me screaming because it doesn't work. And this is where it does work. And this is with my old model because this is so long ago.
There's the second one. Also, while I'm getting that, I did find the horse sashimi, and there's the image of it. That it's just it's white, it's pale, it's not full meat.
Oh, what the heck? It looks like white, like fish sashimi.
Yeah, because it's just mostly
weird.
actual fat.
Interesting. Very interesting.
One sec while I get the videos in here in studio mode. That and oh, that's not going to actually let me do that until I get out of. That's what I don't like about. Am I able to? Okay, so I might have to actually go out of studio mode. And it's probably gonna. Oh wait, because what I can do is I have that there, then. So I had to stop that real quick there, but now I should be able to mess with that. OBS does weird stuff, folks.
True.
Oh, and I think that played it anyways. That's weird. Okay, let's get that. There we go. So actually, so let's. Yeah, so it just started.
I basically just didn't know where to stop, so it just printed a bunch of text that repeated on itself.
And it just kept going.
It just kept going. I think it's I don't know what's wrong, but it got fixed within one line. So I didn't do it. My fiance came out and he's like, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And then tried it out and it worked. So the second clip is it actually working properly as it's supposed to.
Honey, I think it's broken. Honey, it's a CVS receipt. It's broken.
You were worried that it was broken.
What do I do?
I panicked because it was coming out so fast, and I was like, "Is it gonna ever stop?" I was
This
like,
is
"Do
so
I?" And then I realized I have the power to make it stop by powering it off. But I was like, "Oh, this thing is definitely not like stopping."
What the? Honey! Honey!
And then here's
This
the
is
other one.
This is so much. Oh my god.
My scarf of receipt printer paper with random gerbil on it.
And this was during your subathon. We see here that at that point, the timer was at 95 hours.
Oh, it got worse. It was at like I don't even remember. I think we got like almost 200 or at 200. Oh yeah, there's.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, I think wide lob tour and long lob tour. in
Yeah,
that
wait,
clip, so
that
it's
just
super
looks terrifying. Like, that just looks like a sleep paralysis demon right there.
They like it though. Chet loves it.
It's working.
They call it long tour and wide tour.
Do you
That's
remember
their
what you
name
were
for it.
cooking during this stream?
50 pigs.
Gyudon. I only know
Ooh.
because it's at the top right corner.
Oh, it sure is. I totally missed that. Hey, love tour.
Oh my god. Well,
Do love a good gyudon. That
So easy.
Sometimes-
So delicious.
yeah.
oh my, this is
I found some very good prepackaged ones that'll have sometimes if I'm lazy, and then the other times just all right, prepare the meat as you like it and throw it over rice.
oh, thank you for the 50.
So true. It's just so easy because it's just meat and rice basically with a few seasonings and
Mhm.
onion if you like onion.
Yeah.
That is working.
Like, learning to love onion has definitely been one of those things where, as a kid, I did not like onion, and somewhere
me
along
too.
the line, I just started loving onion.
I think for me, there's like a lot of foods that I hated as a kid and now I'm obsessed with, like wasabi, onions, like what else is there? Pickles. I like ketchup now. There's just a lot of those.
I feel like I like ketchup less than I used to. I haven't tried wasabi in a while. I probably should.
I used to like ketchup, then I started disliking ketchup, and now I like ketchup again.
Mm.
Wasabi, I don't know what happened with that one. I just suddenly really like it.
I definitely like spicy things more than I used to, but for whatever reason, I don't severely hate wasabi, but I only need a tiny, tiny amount of it that My palate's just very sensitive to that type of flavor, I suppose.
That's fair. I mean, wasabi is very strong, so
Yeah. I think the other
it's supposed
issue
to like
is that,
overwhelm your taste buds
Yeah.
and your like senses and everything.
and I guess the other part is that I love fish and I love the taste of fish. Like, the fishier, the better. And that since wasabi is used a lot in sushi and sashimi, that I end up getting less of that fishy taste that I like and more of this other thing, which is sort of burning. And so it's a combination of already being something that I'm not finding super pleasant, but then the active knowledge of this is taking away from a taste that I really do like.
No, that's totally fair. I agree with that, and that's why I know it's like not like the traditional Japanese way, but I just like mix my wasabi into my soy sauce so it's less potent in that sense, like less of like a dab and more just like a spread out within.
Yeah.
I know in Japan they don't do that, but
No, that for me, I will usually just have my sushi plain because I like that fishy taste and that I just want to have that full texture and be able to taste the subtleties of, all right, that, this one is yellowtail and that one's halibut or whatever, and really enjoy the full fishiness. That one of the sensory things that I like that I know many don't is I love the smell of a fish market. That is just,
I
for whatever
love it,
reasons,
kind of.
I don't even know if it is a memory smell because I didn't grow up near them, but even when I was very young, going to the grocery store, walking by the counter where they had all the fish in the glass and everything, I would just take a really deep breath of it. I love that smell, and that I know a lot of people associate that type of fishy smell of just being very unpleasant, and I've never understood it.
I like it because it reminds me of the past of when my mom would take me to the fish market. But also, I didn't like it when I was a kid. I'd be like, fishy. So I don't know. I think I just like it now because of nostalgia's sake.
Because you mentioned me, you also enjoy reliving nostalgia, particularly through music.
Oh, yeah. I listen to like 2000s, like alt rock, indie rock type of stuff now.
Any particular ones that you've found yourself revisiting?
There's revisiting not there's just a lot. There's a lot of them that I revisit. I'm just like there's a lot of them that I like. So it's not any particular one song. It's just like a lot in the past kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have seen like VTubers starting to make that genre of song too, like original songs. Like I think Rain from Hololive made a song really recently that I was kind of obsessed with. Let me find it.
Hollow ID just had their first full ID concert, if memory serves. I'm very happy for that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, this is the song that like really reminds me of the era, but it came out 2 months ago, so.
I'm going to just drop this in chat. Not going to bring that full one up here because I'm not sure what that will do to potential playback things. But
yeah, because it's Hololive. I don't know what they do, honestly.
Yeah. But I'll definitely have to go back and listen to that one later because I have not actually heard this one. I saw the posts when she published the song recently, but never actually got around to hearing it. Do you have any interest in doing your own original songs? Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that up till now you've only done covers.
I have only done covers. I have a subathon goal donathon goal where I was supposed to make an original song. I just haven't done it yet because I've been so busy and I've also been nervous. And also, I don't know who to contact.
Don't worry. I too have several donathon goals that I still need to wrap up, which I have precious little time left because I'm giving myself the deadline. I need to have one donathon goal done before the next donathon. That for me is my annual charity marathon, which happens in mid-January. So I have a month and a half, 2 months-ish, for unfortunately, the ones I have left are a song cover, a song parody, and an ASMR stream. I think that's all that's
Yeah.
left. And the
It's not that
ASMR,
bad.
like, I could do the ASMR stream tomorrow. Depending on how my schedule works out, I might just do that. Because initially I was going to try and find something a bit more bespoke. I think I'm going to be doing a reading of, it was like the 30, I forget what it's called. It's some lore thing from Elder Scrolls that was suggested to me by someone. And I glanced through and it seemed fun, so might do that as a reading. And then I have a couple ideas of what I'm going to do for the cover song, and that's going to take a bit more time, but I definitely know I can get it done. And hopefully things on my end will calm down enough for me to be able to actually give them that proper time, because past couple months have been a little silly for me, but so it goes.
Yeah. It's just hectic everywhere, but I need to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
Because like I do have donathon goals still, but like I just either have not felt the motivation to do it, or they're a little bit out of my reach. I made goals that were a little bit out of my reach, so it's a little hard in that sense. And it's also because I had a certain goal for my donathon in mind, like maybe like upwards of like $1,000 raised for my donathon, right? And so I made goals up until $1,000. However, they kind of blasted it out of the water, and I got 17,000, and I'm just like, what the hell happened here? I can't deal with all of this. Like, I'm very grateful, I'm very thankful that it like was so successful. However, my plate is now very busy because I was not expecting all of that, and everyone's like, "Where's my donut?" No one's saying that. In my head, I'm like, "Where's my donut reward?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, I'm all too familiar with that one. Unfortunately, most of those are, the inside head voices, not actual external ones.
Yeah, so I just have to get those done. I feel I need to get those done. I'm probably not going to be able to get all of those done because there's just some things that are a little impossible to get done. And also, like, one of the things I had was, like, an individual, like, per person kind of thing. And since the donathon was so long, and since it surpassed it by 17 times, it's a little hard to get everyone's done within a reasonable amount of time without me burning out. And without me, like, having to focus on other projects. So I'm still dealing with that, and I feel bad, but...
Understandable. But I do appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here, and that I don't want to keep you too much longer. I just have a couple last questions that I asked all my guests.
Okay, sounds good.
And the first is, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? And I ask this question to everyone, regardless of what point in the year. So, early January show, it's, what are you going to do? You have a whole year ahead of you. Right now, we have about 5 weeks left. So, doesn't necessarily have to be something huge, but with the month and some change that you have left, is there anything you're hoping to accomplish before we hit 2026?
I hope to put out my big project that I've been working on for a little bit. I have a project that I was hoping to get out before the end of the year, and I hope that comes into fruition, and I hope that's good.
So be sure to stay tuned, because it sounds like it is a secret project.
It is a secret project.
Well, then you should be sure to follow Pachi on social media. If for some reason you aren't actually following her right now, you should definitely correct that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think very close to 10K followers on Twitch right now.
Twitch says 10K. I know it rounds, though.
If you look at, like, the description, it shows you the exact amount, because I have, like, this amount of followers to go kind of thing. I'm very close. Okay, how did it go from... Okay, it was, like, at 8 this morning, like, 8 followers to go, and now it's at 5. What the hell?
Hey, folks.
Or-
If you're in here and not following Pachi for some reason, you should do that. You should do that. But actually, like, let's get 4 people following right now, and then wait for that 10,000 to be when she's live, though. So only a couple folks, not too many. Yeah.
It'll probably be today, so...
Well, early congratulations on hitting 10K, because that will happen whether it's today, tomorrow. It's gonna be soon, and I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And the last question I ask all my guests is, what does being a VTuber mean to you? That's not what is the definition of a VTuber, but VTubing means different things to different people. Some folks have
actually,
it. Oh,
actually,
I
the
love that
definition
toggle.
of a
It's such a good
VTuber
toggle.
actually, the definition of a VTuber is a visual YouTuber, but this does not particularly correlate to being a YouTuber, as it has expanded into other streaming platforms such as Twitch and other platforms that shall not be named. Sorry, just wanted to use that
Irium.
toggle.
Yes, definitely Irium.
Yeah, Irium. Yeah.
Mm,
But yeah, to me, I guess VTubing is like an expression of myself. I used to be really, really, really shy, and I never thought I could be like a star or anything. I never thought I could be popular or anything. I just thought I'll just be in the background making people happy from the like backlines kind of thing, right? And then like I started streaming. I found out about VTubing, and I'm like, VTubing, I like being an anime girl. I want to be an anime girl. I want to talk about things. I want to try streaming. So I started streaming, and started gaining confidence, and I'm like, maybe I do want to make people like happy in like the front, you know?
yeah.
I'm just like, all these people being happy just because I'm streaming, or like they like my art, or like they like my voice, the way I talk, the topics I talk about, anything that makes them happy, it makes me happy, and it gives me motivation to continue to make people happy. And that's why I became a VTuber. And then it also allows me to express my creativity because as you know, I like designed and drew and rigged my own model, so it's like an expression of creativity for me in that sense too. So there's just multiple ways to express myself in that sense. I just felt like it was perfect in that sense.
I always ask that question, and while I never know what the answer will be, the answers make sense. And especially for an artist like you, that the creativity being the underlying motivation and appeal certainly makes sense. That you mentioning that your degree was specifically in art and technology, of just that, like I said, I know obviously VTubing and rigging couldn't have been part of that degree, but you basically hit the two major points right there. So the pipeline and A to B sequence makes perfect sense, and that I'm very happy that you gave it that chance, and that you've been clearly discovering, as approximately 10,000 people are telling you, that yes, you can be very entertaining there at the front, you know, on the stage and everything. And I'm glad that you seem to be having a really good time and trying everything from music to new types of art and rigging, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, definitely. Because I definitely think like I was so shy when I was younger that I feel like if people in high school were to like stumble across like me, they would not recognize me like whatsoever. My voice has definitely changed from like small pipsqueak to like this now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do actually have one last question, and in some ways it may in fact be the most difficult question of the night, and that's, who would you like us to raid?
Oh no, I don't like that question.
Difficult indeed. Well, while she looks for a good raid target, I'll do some last housekeeping. So first off, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you were here from the pre-show or if you stumbled in along the way, if you're here on Twitch or YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, if you're not already following Pachi, be sure to do so. Her links will be down in the channel panels if you're watching live on Twitch, and they'll also be in the video description on YouTube. Streaming on YouTube has had one huge benefit for me, and it is that I no longer need to bother downloading everything from Twitch and then re-uploading the VOD on YouTube. The fact that it's automatic is very, very freeing.
Oh wait, but you can in Twitch you can just like export if your YouTube is linked to your Twitch, you can just export it like that. You don't have to like download and re-upload it.
What?
You want me to tell
For
you?
4 years. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter much now because I'm just streaming it and having the VOD saved anyways. But for 4 years, Pachi, I downloaded those, and admittedly, I would usually like chop off the starting soon screen, you know, not do any heavy editing on it, but then manually re-upload. And you're telling me this whole time there was an automatic like
There's an
export thing that would have just
button.
dumped it in there?
There do be an export button. Basically, if you connect your YouTube to your Twitch, you go to Video Producer, you click the 3 buttons, and then you can export it. You can either export it into 15-minute segments, or you can upload the full thing onto YouTube without having to download it.
I feel very silly right now.
That's okay. If I had a nickel for every time that they didn't know that you could just export directly and they've been downloading VODs and uploading them on YouTube this entire time, I would have 2 nickels right now. Because
isn't
the
a
other
lot,
one
but
happened
it's weird
really
it happened
recently
twice.
too. There's just the other one was like probably like 2 weeks ago too, or something. I was just like, did you not know you could export them directly? She's like, I'm tired of downloading these VODs and like uploading them. I'm like, you don't have to do that. There's an export button.
Well, at least I don't even have to do that now because it's just saving.
Yeah, true.
But again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. Hope you had a good one. And we are going to be rating into, is it Ice En Blue or
Just
is
call
it
her
Ice and
Ice.
Blue?
I think it's Ice and Blue.
Ice
but
and
you can
Blue.
Just call her Ice. This is my other daughter that I rigged, but she has not debuted yet, so.
Oh. Well, in that case, stay tuned, folks, because looking forward to seeing what she ends up with that. Oh, because I see actually that, wait, so this model is rigged, I think?
Oh, this
Like,
model
I'm
that
glancing
she's
at her
using
stream
on
right now.
stream is not the model that I rigged. This is a pre-made model.
Ah, okay.
Or like a customizable model. That's what it is.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. So be sure to check them out and let them know that Pachi sent you. But otherwise, once again, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're interested in more shows like this, I haven't been able to do as many as I like recently, but we'll be ramping back up and getting ready for the 5th anniversary charity marathon in January. It's just VTuber Talk here on Twitch and Twitter and places. And again, Pachi is Pachi here, Pachiko on a couple different ones. We have the full links for YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Blue Sky, both here on Twitch and on YouTube. So those are all right there for you. Thank you again, everybody, and thank you, Pachi. Have a great evening, everyone, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.